The Taoist let out a long breath. Who are you? I am Lin Zaiasu. The moment these 5 words were spoken, it seemed as if a wind blew through the dojo, a fierce wind. This person is the former master of the Moon Lotus, and also the Lin Huayang professor Lin you've been wanting to kill, who you only managed to kill his substitute of. With a swoosh, a figure appeared out of thin air. This person's movement technique was akin to instantaneous movement. He appeared directly from within the dojo. Yushui's sharp eyes locked onto the person. Judging from this person's movement technique, he was the one who broke into Bai Shan residence 5 days ago, killed the teacher's substitute, and stole the Moon Lotus. This person, with eyes unlike those of humans, focused straight on Lin Huayang, squeezed 2 words through his teeth. A plot. Yes, a plan to lure you here and then follow the trail to find your hiding place. Lin Huayang smiled faintly. This plan wasn't conceived by me, it was by Detective Lin, so if you're angry enough to want to kill someone, I personally suggest you go after him. Upon hearing this, Lin Zaiasu laughed. Though Ding Ryushui beside him was brimming with suspicion, her eyes suddenly shone like autumn waters. Her secret realm power had improved greatly in the South Sea. Now she was eager to try a move. With a fight to be had, she was very excited. The man in the black Taoist robe opposite them suddenly laughed, a laugh infinitely sinister, his voice as if coming from the deepest parts of hell. No need to be polite, no need to hold back. Kill them all. As soon as kill was spoken, this person abruptly transformed entirely. He turned into a fierce beast. The next moment, he was right in front of Lin Huayang. Though shrouded in fog around, it was still broad daylight, and in such daylight, his movement truly was instantaneous. The moment the sound wave arrived, he was there. Before the sound had fully silenced, his sharp blades were already at Lin Huayang's throat. Simultaneously, 4 Taoists on the platform activated at once, all transforming into fierce beasts, in an instant targeting Lin Zaiasu, Ding Ryushui, and Yushui. The plot uncovered, they aimed to kill all witnesses. This was certainly not their first time doing so, they knew the ropes well. Lin Zaiasu raised his hand and drew his sword. Swish! The fierce sword light slashed through, and the head of the beast charging at him flew off. Thud! Ding Ryushui extended a finger, and an ice spear appeared at her fingertip. The ice spear accurately struck the forehead of the beast attacking her, yet the ice spear shattered, the beast recoiled, and Ding Ryushui's expression changed. She had already reached the observing Earth realm. In terms of combat strength, she was not that much weaker than Blue Demon and Miao Yin Heavenly King. Using the latest water battle technique, transforming water into ice and striking the enemy's forehead with a sword, had no effect whatsoever. This seemingly ordinary Taoist had such remarkable skills. The beast lunging towards Yushui missed completely. Though Yushui was there the moment it lunged, she seemed to evaporate into thin air. The next instant, swish! Yushui's petite figure appeared in front of Lin Huayang, facing the leader who ordered the midnight infiltration into Bai Shan residence. The leader moved instantaneously, and so did Yushui. The leader attacked Lin Huayang, the sharpened claws just 3 inches away from Lin Huayang, when Yushui's nails flicked and the ruffian's head flew off. Lin Zaiasu's gaze sharpened. Yushui disappeared again. The next moment, the head of the Taoist who originally attacked her flew off. Swish! Ding Ryushui stretched out her right palm, and a water dragon spewed forth, enveloping the Taoist attacking her. This was her second round with that Taoist. In this round, Ding Ryushui unleashed a powerful move. A water dragon enveloped this Taoist, instantly turning him into an ice sculpture. Bang! Lin Zaiasu punched down, shattering the ice sculpture, and the Taoist's body was dismembered. 5 attackers, and 4 perished in the blink of an eye. The last one suddenly shot into the sky, directly into the dojo, screaming midair, "Come quickly!" Lin Zaiasu raised his hand, sending out a circular thin ice plate, transforming into Dakongxuan. Swish! The Taoist in the air's head flew off. From within the dojo, suddenly emerged dozens of black shadows. Dozens of black shadows came out, their movements boundless, creating the illusion of covering the sky and earth. Swish, swish, swish. Lin Zaiasu raised his hand, releasing over a dozen earth-falling beast scales from his palm, spinning out as Dakongxuan. And 5 men's heads were separated. With a flicker, Yu Ying's figure interspersed, bewildering even Lin Zaiasu's sharp eyes. Within moments she had killed 7 or 8 people, suddenly appearing before Lin Weiyang with a backhand strike, nails transforming into a sword and piercing through a man's forehead. Ding Ryushui raised her hand. A huge water ball formed in the sky, becoming a downpour. "Husband, go." Lin Zaiasu raised his hand, and Li Ren tears was unleashed. Centered on him, over 10 people simultaneously lost their souls. The beauty of this sword, the charm of this sword, captivated even Yushui's eyes with exceptional brilliance. Initially, her performance had always been stronger than Lin Zaiasu's, until Lin Zaiasu performed this style, Li Ren tears. With Li Ren tears, Lin Zaiasu killed more people than she did. Yushui seemed tempted to compete with Lin Zaiasu, her movement technique suddenly accelerating. Originally just a shadow-like instantaneous movement, now even Lin Zaiasu was shocked. Swishing. In a single flash, the heads of 3 top warriors yet to land were separated from their bodies. The 4th swiftly retreated. However, Yushui's nails, like the omnipresent scythe of death, hooked onto his throat. Just at that moment, suddenly, a finger appeared out of thin air, accurately blocking Yushui's nail sword. Yushui's body became a shadow, disappearing from in front, and reappeared behind the owner of that finger. Swish. 5 fingers together, like 5 unpredictable long knives, stabbing out from completely different angles. However, the 5 fingernail swords that could penetrate the bluestone slab hit this person, and they couldn't even pierce his clothes. With a wave of his hand, Yushui retreated like a ghost, holding her right shoulder. Her face drastically changed. Blood dripped from between her fingers. The intensely fierce battle scene seemed to freeze for a moment. Lin Zaiasu locked eyes on this person. Lin Weiyang also locked eyes. This person, wearing a blue Taoist robe, with a wooden hairpin in his hair, exuding an aura like an immortal sage. Undoubtedly having the appearance of a reclusive master. An ordinary reclusive master, just on the surface. But he, using his body, had blocked Yushui's 5 fingernails. With a backhand gesture, almost took Yushui's life. This flick was so fast, it was like an afterimage. Even faster than Lin Zaiasu's separation by 3 notches. With such skills, if it were Yushui but someone else, it would surely be a fatal blow, undoubtedly so. Even Qianlong King might not escape. Then who could he be? Lin Zaiasu saw this face and his heart slightly skipped. In the past, at Bridge Realm in Lishen Mountains Qingwan, he had seen this face. 300 years ago, Li Qing of the Li Tian clan and this person became acquainted, brought him into Qingwan, leaving a mark of immortal companionship to the world. In Qingwan, there was even a statue of him. Li Zui had told him, this person founded Utopia in the outside world. He is the Utopia Venerable Master. In Qianlong information, there was never an image of this Venerable Master because he stayed in Mengmeng Mountain, in a deep mountain Taoist temple, acting as a Taoist priest. And at this moment, he has made a move. Once he makes a move, it is with the demeanor of a senior master. Master, swoosh, more than 30 remaining experts landed all around, encircling Lin Zaiasu and the other 3 in the core, bowing towards this venerable master. The venerable master looked indifferent. His extremely sinister eyes pierced through the mountain mist, aiming at Lin Zaiasu. At this moment, the conspiracy had already been exposed. The culprit was precisely the person in front. Lin Zaiasu. Lin Zaiasu raised his gaze and looked at this venerable master. I saw your statue at Bridge Realm, Lishen Mountains Qingwan. The venerable master slightly closed his eyes, then slowly opened them. A 300-year-old statue, hidden deep in Bridge Realm, yet you have seen it too. You and I really are fated. His voice was calm and serene, fitting in well with his current Taoist appearance. However, Lin Weiyang's eyes suddenly lit up bright. A statue from 300 years ago. The person in front of them, could he really be over 300 years old? Normally, one could not live so long unless they're a 4th realm overlord. 4th realm, realm of understanding Dharma body permeated with heavenly Tao mysterious mechanism, can truly break the shackles of lifespan. Lin Zaiasu slightly smiled. My connection with you is much deeper than you said. Shocking God is your son, right? I killed him. The venerable master's pupils abruptly contracted. The peace on his face was completely shattered by this sentence, replaced with boundless malice and fury. Indeed, the person who personally killed his son was precisely this person in front. He truly had high hopes for that son of his. A father, no blow is more painful than losing his son. Lin Ziasu added, Li Qing, she's your lover, right? I killed her too. With this addition, the venerable master's hair suddenly flew up, moving on its own without wind. Boy, your heart yearns for death, I will grant you that. His voice extremely sinister, so incredibly low. However, as the low wind blew by, the mountain breeze suddenly seemed to cease blowing. The dense fog 10 zhang away seemed to stop swirling. It was a suffocating oppression. In this suffocation, Lin Ziasu faintly smiled. When it comes to fulfillment, I am the true fulfillment. Today, I shall reunite your whole family of 3. Ah, screamed the venerable master in rage. The mountain wind howled in fury. The dense fog surged abruptly. The fog rolled into the mountain forest and also surrounded the venerable master. With a swoosh, he stepped forward, his claws pointing at Lin Ziasu's vital throat. However, this point first struck a water ball. The water ball shattered, and the venerable master seemed to step into misty rain Jiangnan. The water flow turned into swords. The water within his body reversed at this moment simultaneously. Lin Ziasu laughed heartily. Unexpected, right? What I wanted was you channeling all your fury into a full-force strike. Originally, with his cultivation, even if Lin Ziasu launched this strongest strike, he couldn't break his defense. However, Lin Ziasu provoked, igniting the venerable master's wrath. The venerable master's full-force slay brought all energy to his fingertips, thus breaking his own defense. Once entering the unique realm of Li Ren tears, he fell right into the trap. This is Lin Ziasu's battle wisdom. He can always see through the opponent's weaknesses at a glance and can easily devise a plan to defeat his enemy. His scheme succeeded. The venerable master entered Li Ren tears, his eyes suddenly bulging. This is a familiar process for experts encountering Li Ren tears. The next moment, blood arrows should erupt from within, leaving his entire body riddled with holes. Chapter 536, Chapter 535, Ru Clan Parasitism. As expected, all the processes were exactly the same. With a loud bang, blood arrows shot from his body, riddled with 100 holes. He turned into a heap of mangled flesh. Lord, voices erupted all around, filled with panic and distress. Yushui let out a long breath, her back icy cold. This terrifying lord was finally dead. Not at the hands of her, the self-proclaimed super-expert undefeated in the 4th realm, but at the hands of Lin Ziasu. Though unwilling, the situation was extremely dire. The death and disappearance of the other super-expert were ultimately a relieving matter. However, beside her, Lin Weiyang suddenly let out a soft sound. Oh. Throughout the process, Lin Weiyang did not make a move. In fact, he couldn't take action, as he mostly lacked the ability to. Even most of the time, he was seen in a wheelchair both in private and public. Yet, facing these experts flying back and forth across the sky, confronting the imminent deadly attacks, his expression remained as it had in the past. But at this moment, his expression changed. Staring at the heap of mangled flesh, his expression became very unusual. Lin Ziasu also stared at the mound of flesh, his face similarly changed. In this mangled heap, there were thoroughly dismembered internal organs. There were 4 limbs and flesh. Simultaneously, there was something different. Inside this person's abdomen, there was a child. At most, it was no more than 2 feet tall, its whole body shining black. This, even with Lin Ziasu's extraordinary wisdom, even with Lin Weiyang's vast knowledge, they have never seen such a spectacle. A Taoist, the Utopia venerable master's body was destroyed, with a baby inside his abdomen. And it was an incredibly demonic black baby. The baby's eyes suddenly opened. As the eyes opened, its whole body grew with the wind. In an instant, it reached a normal size the next moment, a 3 zhang size, and in another moment, a 5 zhang size. Everyone was stunned. Lin Ziasu's eyes shone brightly. Ru Clan. Ru Clan, he had seen them in the bridge realm, the same place where old Zhang, who asked him for snacks, was from. Afterward, in the pile of books given to him by Li Feiyang, he discovered the details of this race. The Ru Clan, not belonging to one of the Bai clan in the bridge realm, but a special race in the underground world. Even in the underground world, they were renowned. The biggest feature of the Ru clan was having 6 arms. This baby, growing against the wind, with 6 arms carrying tremendous thunder power, directly aimed at Lin Ziasu. At this moment, the water world constructed by Ding Ryushui still existed. Moreover, as this baby burst into growth, Ding Ryushui's water secret realm fully opened, instantly ramping up to full power. She sensed the crisis and could only assist her man in this way. Even within the special artistic conception of Li Ren tears, these 6 arms seemed completely unaffected. Lin Zaiasu faced the most perilous, deadly attack during his execution of Li Ren tears. He saw clearly, under Li Ren tears, numerous streams of water turned into small swords, transforming this area into a sword Dao world. Yet the myriad sword Dao couldn't harm the 6 arms in the slightest. He intended to communicate with the blood inside the arms, breaking through from within, but these arms seemed to have their own sphere, preventing his Li Ren tears from permeating. Just at this moment, his heavenly Tao primordial spirit suddenly shook, linking with Li Ren tears. Under the heavenly Tao primordial spirit stimulus, Li Ren tears suddenly transformed. The initial misty rain Jiangnan at this moment blossomed into 100 flowers. Each flower was a sword. Each sword rotated rapidly, turning into Dakongxuan. Poof! 6 arms swept across the Jiangnan land, shattering dozens of large flowers into fragments. The 6 arms united, directly targeting Lin Zaiasu's main body. Lin Zaiasu's eyes suddenly closed tightly. A small flower floated gently. All flowers withered simultaneously. As the flowers wither, a single flower flies. Thus far, life is insignificant. This is the ultimate realm of Li Ren tears. He had never used it in his life. The small flower fluttered, gently colliding with the 6 united arms. Boom! The black 6-armed giant was shocked 10 zhang away. The Taoist temple behind him turned into ruins. Meanwhile, Lin Zaiasu, lifted off the ground, fell into the abyss below, along with Ding Ryushui. The 6-armed giant touched the ground with 4 arms, bouncing up. 2 arms seemed infinitely extendable, pointing directly at the only ones remaining, Lin Weiyang and Yu Shui. Boom! With just one strike, Yu Shui flew far away, spewing blood like rain in the air. Swish! One arm, like a drill, thrust toward Lin Weiyang's face. At this moment, Lin Zaiasu and Ding Ryushui were below the cliff. Yu Shui was cast far away, leaving only Professor Lin Weiyang, who usually relied on a wheelchair and was powerless. This arm quickly reached Lin Weiyang's brow. Lin Weiyang's eyes bore no sadness nor joy. Just as the arm touched Lin Weiyang's brow, it froze. The 6-armed Ru clan's eyes, as deep as a pool, suddenly turned dazed. With a swish, Lin Zaiasu leaped up from below the cliff. Seeing this scene made his heart leap. Husband, kill! Ding Ryushui shouted loudly. Raising her hands, a water dragon surged from between her palms, shooting towards the 6-armed Ru clan. Lin Zaiasu raised his hand, and his sword flew. In an instant, the water dragon transformed into misty rain Jiangnan. On the land of Jiangnan, 100 flowers bloomed. Everyone present was simultaneously enveloped under the misty rain. The utopian experts were shocked. Kill them! Lin Zaiasu closed his eyes. 100 flowers withered, and 1 flower took flight. This flower drifted leisurely, seemingly slow, yet astonishingly fast. With a soft puff sound, it pierced through the abdomens of over 30 remaining people. Their entire bodies, essence chi seemed to be drawn away by this flower in the blink of an eye. Thunk! Over 30 people toppled at the same time. Meanwhile, the 6-armed black giant slowly fell. At the beginning of its fall, it was still 5 zhang tall, but as it tilted, its size decreased bit by bit. Thunk! By the time it fell, it was roughly equivalent to a normal human size. Teacher, Yu Shui's voice came from the distant cliff edge, and in the next moment she crossed the battlefield littered with bodies to appear before Lin Weiyang. Lin Weiyang slowly lifted his gaze, his face pale. His body swayed unsteadily. Teacher, are you all right? Yu Shui shouted. I'm fine, just a bit tired. Lin Weiyang plopped down, sitting in the blood, and Yu Shui squatted beside him, supporting him with a face full of concern as well as relief and joy. Lin Zaiasu stepped forward, and with that step, the mood of misty rain and fog was shattered. He smiled. Professor Lin, the task is complete. Lin Weiyang raised his gaze. This utopia venerable master, was he beyond your prediction? His voice was very weak. Yes, I always considered him as part of the Li Tian clan, but I never expected he was merely parasitizing the body of a Li Tian clan member. His true form is a unique species from the Earth core world, the Ru clan. Ru clan? What kind of race is the Ru clan? Lin Weiyang was very surprised. Yu Shui and Ding Ruoshui were, of course, even more surprised. Does Professor Lin not know? Lin Weiyang shook his head gently. I've always been focused on the ancient mysterious clan, unfamiliar with the Earth core world. The Ru clan isn't one of the Bridge realm by races. I only stumbled upon their existence in ancient texts. This race possesses strange divine skills, and even in the Earth core world, they're renowned. Apparently, their parasitic ability is a kind of divine skill that makes them feared by all races. Parasitism. They shrink their form, entering the body of the host. It's similar to primordial spirit possession. Even in some ways, more terrifying than primordial spirit possession. With primordial spirit possession, only the primordial spirit remains, but they still have their physical body. Once the host body is killed, their body immediately breaks free, transforming into a slaughter machine. It's not almost 2 lives they have, it's undoubtedly 2 lives. Parasitism. Lin Weiyang sighed. Perhaps its parasitism is a last resort, as its true form cannot tolerate the air or the heavenly Tao rules under this realm. His eyes moved to the corpse on the ground. This corpse had been black and shiny just moments ago, but now smoke was rising from it, as if it were being burned. Utopia was founded by the Li Tian clan. Almost all members are from the Li Tian clan. However, their founding ancestor was from the Ru clan. But they chose a Li Tian clan member as their host body. The reason being that the Ru clan is a subterranean species, and under current circumstances, cannot be exposed to this world. The Li Tian clan's body served as protective clothing for them. Indeed, perhaps the true motive of Utopia's determination to open the Earth core world entrance lies here. Their founder yearns to return to the real Earth core world to remove this prison. Lin Ziaosu also sighed. Lin Weiyang nodded slightly. There's still so many experts left alive. Doesn't Mr. Lin wish to interrogate them to uncover their subordinates in Daxia? Yes, Lin Ziaosu's final strike didn't kill this group of experts, merely using the ultimate realm's Li Ren tears. One flower flew, piercing their abdomens, taking all their spirit energy, leaving them unable to resist. These people are the key tool for finding their subordinates in Daxia. Lin Ziaosu laughed. The Qianlong King is arriving soon. With so many people, they'll definitely extract the information. Why bother interrogating myself? Lin Weiyang's expression was complex. The Qianlong King, are we meeting soon? Lin Ziaosu replied, you've done so much for them, it's time to establish contact for future actions. He didn't mention 6-eared left holder, but the implication was evident to Lin Weiyang. He nodded slightly, indeed. In the sky above, it seemed like 2 dark clouds drifted by. 2 flying cars came from afar. One large, one small. From the large flying car descended dozens of fully armed mechanical police. From the smaller one, 4 people descended. The first 2 were old acquaintances. One was Blood Trace, the other Blue Demon. Their eyes fell to the ground, shocked. Lin Ziaosu smiled. Blood King, Professor Lin and I have a gift for you. Blue Demon's eyes turned to Lin Weiyang. Blood Trace's eyes flickered. What gift? The Utopia Venerable Master, along with his skilled subordinates. Count how many died yourself. There are 21 still alive. Blood Trace's expression suddenly changed. An instant surge with brilliance. In Blue Demon's eyes, a light flickered, their chest gently rising and falling. Take them on the flying car. Blood Trace waved his hand, and 2 gold medal members behind him stepped forward, along with dozens of mechanical police. They began cleaning the battlefield. Blood Trace King looked towards Lin Weiyang. Is this the boss Lin of the Mountain and River Club, Lin Weiyang? Yes, Lin Weiyang slowly stood upright. I also have an undeserving nickname called 6-eared left holder. Chapter 537. Chapter 536. Lin Xiaoming seems more fitting for the 6-eared left holder's role. Blue Demon's eyes lit up. 6-eared left enforcer. Blood Trace's eyes also shone brightly, taking a deep breath. Why say, not living up to the name? Lin Weiyang laughed. Because I suddenly feel that our detective Lin seems to fit the description of the 6-eared left enforcer more. 6-eared left enforcer, heavenly Tao holds me left. Throughout the world, in the paths of the left and side gates, I am the revered one. However, in terms of strategic planning, the twists and turns of the mind, the ability to manipulate others with ease, Lin Ziaosu seems to truly fit this description. His planning, Each time starts from the unexpected, yet each time is fulfilled as if by divine touch. Even Lin Huayang, as cunning as a spirit, was forced to come out this time against the Utopia Venerable Master, wasn't he? So Lin Huayang admits he's not up to the standard of the 6-year left enforcer, but Detective Lin is. Lin Zaiasu laughed heartily. The professor seems to have some resentment towards me. I'm leaving. As the voice fell, the person was already gone, and from afar seemed to still hear Ding Ryushui calling out. Lin Huayang finally entered the hidden dragon circle. Meanwhile, Lin Zaiasu and Ding Ryushui descended Meng Meng Mountain along the roadside. Ding Ryushui reached out, grabbed his hand. I really didn't expect that your visit to Yangcheng this time would involve such a big move. You thought I was just here to book a room with you. Well, at first I really thought so. Ding Ryushui admitted directly. Your Li Ren tears, getting more and more impressive. That venerable master's true body, in my view, is not far from the enlightenment realm, yet you still managed to kill it with one blow. Mysterious light flashed across Lin Zaiasu's eyes, but he did not answer. Ding Ryushui wasn't having it. With the conversation leading here, shouldn't you be modest? Shouldn't you lift me up, give me a kiss by the ear and say, Dear Ryushui main wife, this is actually your accomplishment. With such a clear hint, Lin Zaiasu picked her up. Dear little wife, your contribution today was indeed great. Ding Ryushui snapped. Even when I give you the words, you change them. What little wife? Where am I little? I'm certainly a cup size larger than Blue Demon. My goodness, who do you have to compare your bust with? Must it be Blue Demon? She's a transformation technique grandmaster, can transform to whatever bust size she wants. Ding Ryushui was baffled. Is that really true? Lin Zaiasu sighed lightly. About not surpassing in bust, don't be discouraged, there's something else. I should be the one feeling down. What? Ding Ryushui temporarily set aside the bust issue, facing the most critical question. Actually, my Li Ren tears isn't that impressive. Even if I used every bit of my strength, in fact, I still couldn't kill that Earth Core strange race. Ding Ryushui's body stiffened, and after a long time she let out a gentle breath. Lin Huayang, he did it. Yes. How did he do it? Subdivine skill, directly wiped out the opponent's primordial spirit and all consciousness. Ding Ryushui slowly raised her head, staring at the Meng Meng Mountain already shrouded in thick fog, taking in a breath with an unknown taste. Lin Huayang, a frail professor, turned out to be the strongest expert in these lands. Who could have imagined? I did, Lin Zaiasu smiled mysteriously. Were you being thrown off a cliff, the crisis you created for Lin Huayang? Ding Ryushui felt a jolt. Lin Zaiasu laughed. Yes, if not wanting to assess his skills, I could have fought a few more rounds with that Earth Core strange race, of course, provided my dear little wife Ding has sufficient water capacity. Ding Ryushui shot him a glance. With enough water capacity or not, you still haven't figured it out after several days and nights, huh? I'm truly impressed with you, little husband. How do you manage to pick out such top-notch helpers from the crowd? Lin Zaiasu smiled. His smile was profound. These days, the easiest thing to deceive is the eyes. What the eyes see is not necessarily real. For example, the relationship between him and Lin Huayang is like this. Since the first time ascending Bai Shan residence, seeing this professor that day, Lin Zaiasu never forgot the professor's subdivine probing. From the moment he saw Li Chengsheng's daughter Li Zi at Bai Shan residence, he already regarded Lin Huayang as an opponent. Since then, a few engagements, several rounds of games. Lin Huayang seemed to become his comrade. Especially this time against the Utopia Venerable Master, they achieved true solidarity. Only then achieved such a brilliant victory. He believed next they could continue to cooperate. However, at this moment, Lin Huayang seemed to have said something inadvertently, striking right at Lin Zaiasu's most sensitive nerve. Lin Huayang appeared considerate, reminding him, aren't you going to interrogate these Utopia masters? Interrogating the still living Utopia experts. It was something necessary after the mission concluded. It could be done by the Hidden Dragon Circle or by Lin Zaiasu. If Lin Zaiasu did it, it would undoubtedly be more effective because he had subdivine skill, could easily extract Utopia's deepest secrets with divine control skill. But Lin Zaiasu didn't do that. Just because he suddenly realized something. That is Lin Huayang, seemingly exhausted all his spiritual power, yet his sub-god power was still very abundant. He shouldn't have appeared so tired, yet he did. If If Lin Zaiasu had followed Lin Weiyang's suggestion, using the sub-divine skill of divine control on site, interrogating these dozens of experts, his sub-god energy would be completely depleted. At that time, what would Lin Weiyang do to him? This is a subject he is unwilling to dwell on. Lin Weiyang couldn't move him right now, because Lin Zaiasu's own sub-divine skill was already close to the level 30 threshold. Once the sub-divine realm was opened, anyone who wanted to use sub-divine skill against him would face many variables. However, if his sub-god power was completely depleted, it would give sub-deity experts the opportunity to take advantage. He could not give Lin Weiyang any chance. At least not right now. Besides, Lin Weiyang's secrets were becoming more numerous. The biggest secret was that Lin Weiyang's sub-god skill had clearly surpassed the level 30 threshold. Without crossing this sub-divine external release threshold, he simply couldn't have killed the Utopia Venerable Master. How did he surpass it? The threshold for sub-divine skill is the heavenly human lock, and there's only one way to open it, which is to comprehend the Lost Lotus. But the Lost Lotus was suppressed by Emperor Kun under the Great Array tens of thousands of years ago. In this world, no one can touch the Lost Lotus. Even the Holy Master of Utopia Ancestral Hall cannot touch it. How did Lin Weiyang touch it? Was it before the Lost Lotus was sealed, or after? If he touched it before, he is evidently a remnant from 10,000 years ago. If he touched it after, what does it mean? The world is full of bizarre happenings. Everyone has a different face. In the eyes of the world, Lin Weiyang is a dignified professor, a successful businessman. But in Lin Zaiasu's eyes, he sees the side others cannot see. Lin Weiyang initially targeted the nine-headed snake, genuinely providing some help. He just cooperated with him and killed the Utopia Venerable Master. If Lin Weiyang hadn't acted with Lin Zaiasu's current cultivation, he really couldn't have killed him. If not killed, the consequences would have been extremely dangerous. Although the Ru clan can't stand this world, they wouldn't die so easily, and they could find someone to parasitize, hiding in the world for a long time. Therefore, Lin Zaiasu at this stage can't take any extreme measures against Lin Weiyang. However, he also needs to apply some pressure on Lin Weiyang, warning this possible ancient remnant not to be too arrogant, not to think that with your formidable skills, there is still me, Lin Zaiasu, in this world, so you'd better behave. This is the fundamental reason why he didn't cover up his detective divine skill today, and directly displayed his ultimate realm of Li Ren swordsmanship. He wants to instill a sense of dread in Lin Weiyang. As long as he remains, Lin Weiyang shouldn't go too far. At this moment in Yangcheng, the tasks have been completed. New Year's Day is tomorrow. After New Year's Day, the New Year is imminent. No more fuss before the New Year's Eve. Go home for Spring Festival. Like last year, take an early holiday, letting the two little flowers in the detective agency fully enjoy the fruitful results of this year. Tomorrow is New Year's Day, come to my house, Ding Ryushui said. Sure, Lin Zaiasu agreed readily. Ding Ryushui said, if you come to my house for New Year's Day, I can go to your house for Spring Festival. Let's talk about it later. Ding Ryushui gave him a slightly resentful look, killing him all the way. He remained oblivious, though only seemingly oblivious. Modern couples always find it difficult to balance where to spend the holidays. In Ding Ryushui's heart, it seems that balance is achieved. New Year's Day at my house, Spring Festival at your house. But Lin Zaios couldn't agree. In his parents' entrenched impression, the daughter-in-law is Little Yi. Everyone in the neighborhood knows Little Yi. Little Yi has been living at his home for more than a year, also during Spring Festival. How could you, as the mistress, visit? Ding Ryushui, despite being resentful along the way, finally calmed down. Anyway, she knew early on that he was a scumbag since she chose to accept. Why bother with nonsense? Being with him, keep the goals simple, just for the body's comfort, forget it. Boarding the high-speed train, heading back to Jiangcheng. When they arrived in Jiangcheng, the sun was almost setting. Lin Zaiasu said, want to get some gifts for your mom. Ding Ryushui's eyes sparkled. Now that things are accomplished, you're really willing to spend money. Of course. Then let's go to Heilaichuan. Heilaichuan jewelry, the best in the city. Lin Zaiasu hesitated. Giving jewelry seems a bit tacky. How about giving something better? What to give? Ding Ryushui was quite interested. The scummy one from her own family got enlightened. Started pleasing her mom, wonderful, the days without playing weren't wasted. How about we go to the grocery market, buy some vegetables, radishes, and the like. Tell your mom these were personally grown by my mom, brought to Jiangcheng from afar. Let her taste the flavor of family ties. Think about it. Your mom has billions in her account. What kind of delicacies from mountains and seas hasn't she tasted? What kind of jewelry doesn't tempt her? Only a share of sweat from family bonds. Simple and down-to-earth concerns can make her return from the indulgence in the dusty world to the harbor of family ties, encountering this pure sentiment. His endless poetic words, accompanied by the vast sunset, transformed into a heartfelt confession, flowed into Ding Ryushui's ears. She sighed. I'm convinced. Even though you're poor and stingy, you really know how to work. Chapter 538, Chapter 537, Ding Dong's Puppet Path. The sun sets in the west. A taxi drives into Nanhu Villa. Lin Zaiasu carries a large woven bag and walks alongside Ding Ryushui into the Ding's villa. As usual, Mrs. Ding greets them with a joyful smile. Ding Ryushui solemnly hands the bag to her mother. Mom, this is from his mom. Grown by her own hands, filled with her mom's hard work. She said since you're in Jiangcheng and have everything, she could only send you some homegrown vegetables to share a taste of familial love. There she kept saying, his mom, over and over. Lin Zaiasu felt his cheeks go a bit sour. But Mrs. Ding was delighted, taking the bag and opening it with a smile as bright as a flower. Sister May, wash these radishes from the in-laws, and I'll make a new dish with them myself. Aunt May cheerfully came over to start the preparations. Lin Zaiasu reached out and took out a jade bracelet, handing it to Mrs. Ding. Auntie, this is a gift from me to you. Ding Ryushui was quite surprised. This jade bracelet was crystal clear, with floating patterns inside. With her insight, she could see it wasn't cheap, at least in the low six figures, of course, provided it was genuine. Could such a stingy person really buy a bracelet worth tens of thousands for his mother-in-law? Just hope it isn't fake. If you buy green vegetables and radishes for 38 yuan at the market, I'd agree just because of the political and ideological work you've done. I assume that's the thing. But if you give my mom a fake acid-washed bracelet, that's really too much. This thing harms the skin. Mrs. Ding's eyes sparkled. Sire, why did you go through the trouble? Auntie, this bracelet really didn't cost me much. The last time I went to Bainan province, I spent 50,000 buying a raw jadeite, and on the spot, it yielded several bracelets and a pile of pendant pieces. Just selling one recovered the cost, and the rest are all profits. Mrs. Ding was delighted. I told you Sar is a detective. His eyes are like they're enlightened. She accepted the jade bracelet and put it on immediately. Sister May, Sister Fang, come and take a look. The two aunties came over, gathered around the lady, admired it, and all praised it, saying this bracelet must be worth tens of thousands. Mrs. Ding scoffed at them. Tens of thousands. Who would sell you ice type with floating patterns for that? I saw one at He Like Shuan last time and it wasn't as good as Sar's. It was 80,000 to start with. Hiss. The sound of a sharp intake of breath. The three women entered the kitchen, busy with dinner preparations for the evening. Ding Ryushui sat with Lin Zaiasu in the living room. A whisper quietly passed. Is this bracelet real or fake? What do you mean real or fake? I opened it from the stone on site. How could it be fake? Is it really worth 80,000? To my knowledge, similar products at He Like Shuan can indeed go up to 80,000 after all. It's famous worldwide for overcharging wealthy women. I paid your detective agency 80,000 for detective fees and pretending to be my boyfriend, and now you give my mom a bracelet also worth 80,000. Is there any meaning behind it? Ding Ryushui said with a smile. This indicates that we exit the fake relationship and enter into something real. Get lost. Not tonight. A girl can't mess around at her parents' house. I've heard it's not good for brothers. Even if we don't mess around, could your brother have a good one? Lin Zaiasu glanced around. Where's your brother? My brother, Ding Ryushui called out. Mom, where's brother? Mrs. Ding came over from the kitchen. Your brother has been in a daze lately, tinkering every day with robot cats, robot dogs, zai zai, nan nan, bei bei. With her call, 2 small cats and 2 small dogs came running quickly down the stairs. Ding Ryushui's eyes widened. The fluffy little animals of cats and dogs naturally have a charm that girls love. These 4 cats and dogs she had never seen before. But each was adorable. The white one is Zai Zai, the black and white one is Nan Nan, the pure black one is Bei Bei. What's the name of this spotted dog again? Sister Fang, Mrs. Ding said. Aunt Fang responded from a distant corridor. Madam, this spotted dog is called Zio Ban. Ding Ryushui was a bit bewildered. We've got Zai Zai, Nan Nan, and Bei Bei. Why not call one Dong Dong? Dong Dong is your brother, Mrs. Ding said. Zai Zai, Nan Nan, Bei Bei, Zio Ban, attention. The dogs and cats all stood at attention. These are your owners, greet them. The two little dogs stood up on their hind legs, placing their paws in Ding Ryushui's hands, while the two little cats stood up in a human-like way, placing their paws in Lin Zaiasu's hands, representing the Ding family, welcoming the two newly returned owners. Ding Ryushui laughed. Lin Zaiasu's heart skipped a beat. Mrs. Ding thought, as did the Ding servants, and even Ding Lijong and Ding Ryushui, that these 4 cats and dogs were mechanical pets. Only he knew. They weren't. These were puppets. Ding Dong had finally taken the first step on his puppet path. He used puppetry to create 4 cats and dogs. These animals had no electrical components inside, only arrays and talismans. This brother-in-law, you have to say, he's a genius. He's probably in the basement, I'll go check on him, Lin Zaiasu said. Okay, he's been eating down there lately, bring him up for dinner, Mrs. Ding said. Lin Zaiasu walked to the elevator, pressed the button, and entered the basement. In the basement, Ding Dong sat at the table, in front of him a cup of coffee, long gone cold, displaying a rarely seen expression. He was extremely focused on a piece of paper in front of him. Lin Zaiasu took a step forward and Ding Dong reflexively waved his hand, making the paper disappear into thin air. He suddenly looked up, saw Lin Zaiasu, and his expression changed rapidly, bouncing up. Brother, when did you arrive? Just now, Lin Zaiasu said. What are you looking at? This. Ding Dong extended his hand and pulled out a piece of paper from his pocket. Lin Zaiasu glanced over. This is the complete talisman for controlling the wing blade. You've drawn the control talisman for the wing blade, Lin Zaiasu said. Yes, this talisman has to be precise and flawless, very difficult. The puppet path allows for no mistakes, otherwise it would lead to destruction and injury. After a brutal 100-day battle, I can already form it in one go. Ding Dong was very excited. Lin Zaiasu praised, Brother Ding, you truly are a genius in this domain. Haha, who in the world doesn't know this? Ding Dong showed no sign of humility. Next, do you plan to try it on the wing blade? Ding Dong's eyes flickered with light. I haven't decided yet whether to contact them before the end of the year or after. If you want to do something, don't overthink it, just do it, Lin Zaiasu said. All right, I'll contact that white-haired girl tomorrow. Hey brother, how old is that white-haired girl? Damn, I can understand if you ask about her identity, but what's the point of asking her age? What could it mean? To see if she's possible to flirt with. Brother Ding, you really have not changed, Lin Zaiasu sighed. Yet I don't know her age either. I generally don't care about women's ages. You can't ignore it. What if it's someone in their 40s or 50s? That would make me a laughingstock for life. Lin Zaiasu looked down on him. In their 40s or 50s, and it becomes a joke. I don't even know how old Li Zui is, yet I didn't worry about going ahead. I can clearly know that the Saintess Kaian Ling residing at Tashan Lake is over 10,000 years old. If she wants to try something new, do you think I'd have any psychological barriers? However, these things, of course, are not suitable to share with this convenient brother-in-law. He took Ding Dong out for dinner. Once Ding Dong gets busy, he basically flips day and night, meals are random. But there are always exceptions. When Lin Zaiasu pulls him up, what can he do? Ding Lijong came back, beaming with joy. Mrs. Ding personally made a new dish, radish soup, with appearance and aroma. Well, let's not speak of taste, but the look and smell were perfect. She shared the origin of the radish during the meal again, and even Lin Zaiasu felt a bit embarrassed. Luckily, everyone was familiar with the follow-up routine. It's nothing more than drinking and losing a county-level house. Then Lin Zaiasu accompanied Ding Lijong to sit in the study. This time of year, there's no need to go up to the rooftop in the bitter cold to enjoy the night breeze. Entering Ding Lijong's room, warm as spring, after drinking a cup of tea, Lin Zaiasu smiled. Uncle Ding looks radiant today. Is there some good news? Your visit is a piece of good news. Ding Lijong laughed heartily. Also, there is indeed a piece of great news. What is it? Our research project is successfully completed. Ding Lijong raised his teacup and let out a long breath. It's an epic-making revolution and will rewrite history. Lin Ziasu's heart raced. Epic-making revolution, rewriting history. The only thing he could think of that fits this description is the creation gate on the path of genes, unlocking the genetic shackles. Could it be Yixiang told Ding Lijong about her breakthrough? Has Ding Lijong really found the path to gene unlocking? However, Ding Lijong's following words told him it wasn't this. It was in another domain. The field of communication. Currently, all communications are heavily dependent on satellites. Modern military, modern civil life, all rely on satellites. In times of peace, there's no problem. Small-scale local wars, no problem. After all, those small countries can't destroy satellites, nor dare they think of it. However, one day in the future, this world will undergo tremendous change. Folded space will open, superpower entities will appear in this world. They can fly through the void. They can destroy flying devices with a wave of their hand. Satellites may not be safe. If satellites are not destroyed, modern missiles might still contend with these giants on the cultivation path for a few rounds, and perhaps effectively damage them. But what if these giants fly into the sky and use their ultimate cultivation techniques to destroy all satellites at once? The Earth's military, already accustomed to satellite positioning, would have no targets for missiles without satellites. How would they effectively counter them? This is the dead end of communication technology. Based on this, Daxia has started a top-secret plan called the Earth Eye Project. What is the Earth Eye? If satellites are the Sky Eye, then underground communication bases are the Earth Eye. The Earth Eye doesn't rely on satellites, but on neutrino technology. This project has been underway for many years. Progress in the middle has always been very slow. After Lin Ziasu got the purple magic stone, this project started to speed up. The Changsheng group was taken over by the state, and what it was doing was this thing. Of course, it's not just the Changsheng group doing it. The Jiangnan group has also been fully cooperating. Chapter 539, Chapter 538, Major Breakthrough in the Earth Eye Project. The latest major breakthrough is indeed related to Lin Ziasu. Lin Ziasu and Zhao Zhen from Jiangnan group traveled to Yingyu country and brought back a person, He Xingkai. He Xingkai had wandered in foreign countries for many years, ostensibly working for Yingyu country, but he was always pondering this project. Years of thinking, not daring to write it down, not daring to discuss it with anyone, just pondering deeper and deeper, with thoughts wandering ever further. After returning to the country, he implemented his various ideas and finally found inspiration in the field of neutrinos. Neutrino technology has now broken through the last bottleneck and reached the practical stage. When the 360 stations of Daxia are deeply embedded underground, Daxia's communications will have a backup system. Even if the heavenly eye is damaged, there's still the Earth Eye. In times of disastrous tribulations, even if satellites are destroyed, Daxia's missiles can still be launched normally. This is top secret. But Ding Lijong didn't keep it from Lin Ziasu, because he had heard too much about Lin Ziasu's deeds. He knew Lin Ziasu was a key person in this monumental calamity. Lin Ziasu felt deeply moved. Indeed, there are heroes on every front. A project like this is truly essential. Others might not accept it, but he wouldn't doubt that someone could easily destroy heavenly eye satellites. Human military strength may not be enough to compete with top masters on the cultivation path, but having something and having nothing at all are two fundamentally different concepts. He feels fortunate that there is such a group of people silently working in this domain. Indeed, this path is not lonely. That night, Lin Ziasu sleeps in the guest room at Ding's villa. Midnight just when he plans to sleep. However, the door quietly opens, and Ding Ryushui silently slips into bed. Embracing her soft warmth, Lin Ziasu asks her softly, "Didn't you say we shouldn't fool around?" Ding Ryushui stammers, "That's just feudal superstition." So gently adjusting, gently feeding, softly rising and falling, the whole process controlled, Ding Ryushui feels extremely comfortable at the peak, whispering in his ear, "There's the fierce taste of fierce and the softness of soft, you should keep it varied, 3 fierce times and 1 soft. No more fierce, I have to go home tomorrow. Then come during the spring festival. I really might not be able to come during the spring festival. I'll come over during the spring festival." Lin Ziasu, How about after the Spring Festival? After the Spring Festival, I need to go to Kun Kang. Let's go together. You're going to Kun Kang? Ding Ryushui was surprised. Hem. I heard. I heard from Blue Demon that you locked the gate of Kun Kang. The gate is one-way blocked. Trying to come out might not be possible, but entering from this side is quite easy. Ding Ryushui glanced at him sideways. You didn't understand me at all. Those Kun Kang bigwigs hate you for being controlled this way. You dare to enter Kun Kang. Aren't you afraid they'll do you in? Lin Zaiyasu replied, afraid so. I plan to deal with them first. Admit it, you're tough when you're on me, but you'll be useless in Kun Kang. You won't be able to handle anyone. After a sidelong glance, Ding Ryushui said, actually, I also need to go to Chunshui Palace. She had broken through to the observing Earth realm, and the next step is observing heaven. Her observing heaven is a bit unique, requiring her to light the first heavenly star in the secret realm of Chunshui Palace and build the path for subsequent heavenly stars. The next morning, Lin Zaiyasu left Ding's villa, and Ding Dong saw him off. This is indeed news. Ding Dong has never sent anyone off, unless it's a beautiful woman he hasn't yet taken into action. Today, he actually took the initiative to send Lin Zaiyasu off. With this gesture, he sent him from Jiangcheng straight to Fengcheng. On the way, Lin Zaiyasu discussed a lot with him about the puppet path. A door in Ding Dong's mind opened at that moment. The puppet path, used in modern warfare, could be a strange force. For example, Daxia's world-renowned machine wolf packs, the only effective defense from rival countries is electronic warfare. Using electronic interference to disrupt the control system of machine wolf packs. This is effective. However, what if they were replaced with puppets? Electronic warfare entirely loses its effectiveness, catching the opponent off guard. Could they still not be defeated? Ding Dong's vision widened, his heart filled with unspeakable excitement. After sending Lin Zaiyasu to the detective agency's door, he immediately turned around. Passing the Fengcheng City sculpture, he produced a special communicator and pressed it down. The communicator transmitted the voice of Qianlong 9, Zhu Ying. What's up? Haven't seen you in a long time, I miss you. After a long moment, Zhu Ying finally sighed. It's almost New Year, don't force me to swear, just say it. I need to go to the base immediately. I've made a scientific breakthrough, even hoping to reveal the third form of wing blade. Ding Dong tried hard to keep his voice calm and peaceful, looking forward to hearing a surprise shriek from Zhu Ying, this white-haired girl, through the communicator. However, there was no shriek, only surprise. Lin Zaiyasu conveyed this method to you. What do you mean Lin Zaiyasu conveyed it to me? Ding Dong was furious. In all the world, I alone could possibly accomplish this ancient mission. Then why? Why did Lin Zaiyasu already achieve the third transformation of wing blade half a month ago? Ding Dong was dumbfounded, touched his face, took a deep breath and found it completely unbelievable. Really? It's normal that you do know. No one outside has seen the grandeur of the third form of wing blade firsthand. Zhu Ying said, but you're not wrong. Qianlong urgently needs to know this method. Where are you now? I'll come to pick you up. I am in Lin Zaiya수's hometown. I'm considering whether to drive and run him over. Ding Dong gritted his teeth. That bastard praised me as a genius with a straight face yesterday, while he was actually waiting for me to call him the genius of geniuses. My sister, she's just been swindled. Currently, Ding Dong was on cloud 9, as if he were second only to the heavens. However, in just a few words from Zhu Ying, his spirit was completely dampened. Because he suddenly realized that the huge breakthrough he was so proud of had already been surpassed. He was no longer second to none. Even if he truly succeeded in the third transformation of Wing Blade, he was just following in Lin Zaiya수's footsteps. Failing to show off in front of the white-haired girl, Ding the Dandy felt somewhat dejected. Lin Zaiyasu returned to the detective agency. In the agency, only Miao Rulan was there. Upon seeing him, a familiar gentle smile appeared on Miao Rulan's face and she stood up. You're back. Yes, Lin Zaiyasu gently gave her a hug. Miao Rulan leaned into his embrace a bit, brushed past him, and went to pour him tea. A cup of tea was placed in his hands, and Miao Rulan said, some more money just arrived. How much? 1,000,000 came in the day before yesterday, and 500,000 just arrived. Miao Rulan lightly exhaled. Lin Zaiyasu was aware of these two sums of money. The 1,000,000 was due to the great achievements Lin Zaiyasu had in the Southwest War Zone, slaying the Earthfall Beast and removing Li Tian's Saint Master. The merit was too great to be calculated in detail, so they simply converted it into 2 top-level missions, amounting to 1 million at the cap. And the 500,000 that just came in today was likely from yesterday's operation against the Utopia Venerable Master. This amount also capped at 500,000. Miao Ruolan looked out onto the street, lowered her voice. Little Sue, just this year, we've made over 70 million on paper. It's really kind of scary, and the funds from 101 are all tax-free. Tax-free? Lin Ziasu was a bit surprised. Qianlong was quite considerate to waive the taxes. Let's discuss something. Miao Ruolan sat next to him. What is it? Still about the shares. Why don't you pay me an unprecedented high salary? Don't roll your eyes. Isn't 1 million a year enough? 1 million annual salary places you at the pinnacle of the pyramid, Miao Ruolan said. No, this isn't something we can decide on our own. The law clearly states that we have equal shares 50-50. But all the work is done by you. I've already won you over. Why dwell on who did the work? Miao Ruolan's cheeks blushed. Lin Ziasu started his persuasion. They say, when men have money, they go bad. If you give all the money to me, I'll definitely go bad. You don't want me to go bad, do you? Miao Ruolan snuggled into his arms, lightly nibbled on his hand. I'm not worried about that. You're already as bad as it gets. How much worse can it get? These words, spoken between young lovers, seemed kind of indulgent. Lin Ziasu's hand slipped underneath her clothes. Miao Ruolan quickly held it down, giggling. Actually, I've gone a bit bad too. Oh really? Could my Ruolan also turn bad? Miao Ruolan blinked. Really, a few days ago, I did something particularly bad. I'll tell you, but don't tell anybody else. She began recounting her misdeed. It was targeted at her future sister-in-law. Her brother, at the end of last year, went on a blind date with a girl, right? That girl asked for a dowry of 388,000. At the time, her parents were so worried their hair nearly fell out. Miao Ruolan gave her mother 400,000, and once the dowry was given, the other side was very happy. Thus the marriage was set. But unexpectedly, that future sister-in-law and her family were insatiable. While discussing the wedding, they started causing trouble. First, they demanded to buy a house in the provincial capital, then a house in the county town. Then they wanted an additional dowry, claiming that one of her friends received a dowry of 500,000. Then they asked for 5 gold, 8 gold, reasoning that it's the norm now. Her parents were overwhelmed. They felt that their future daughter-in-law's appetite was too large, like a bottomless pit. If they backed out of the engagement, the other side wouldn't return the dowry. Meeting all her demands, firstly, there wasn't enough money, secondly, who knew where her demands would end? When her mother shared this with Miao Ruolan, both women at the detective agency were furious. Josai said, our detective agency has solved so many difficult cases. How can we not resolve something like this for ourselves? No way, we have to come up with a solution. They plotted all night and came up with a particularly bad plan. Miao Ruolan gave her mother 3 million and had her deposit it in a postal savings bank. The clerk at that postal bank happened to be a friend of her future sister-in-law, who had been encouraging her to keep demanding money. Her mother pretended not to know her and deposited the large sum in her own name through her hands. The next day, the future sister-in-law took the initiative to contact her brother, being unusually gentle. Her brother, according to her and Josai's plan, acted distant towards that sister-in-law. The sister-in-law panicked and went to her house, showing excessive warmth to her parents. Her parents, following Miao Ruolan's arrangement, weren't cold nor particularly warm. During the visit, Josai also arranged for a matchmaker to come by, pretending not to recognize the sister-in-law and introducing a potential wife for her brother, saying that woman was particularly suitable for living a life, unlike the issues with women nowadays. The sister-in-law listened throughout, her face alternating between red and black. Afterwards, the sister-in-law's family had a complete change of attitude. They no longer discussed any conditions, urging the couple to get married quickly. Now the date is set for May 1st next year, and currently, the sister-in-law is at their house every day helping her parents, appearing very virtuous and well-behaved. Chapter 540, Chapter 539, Mad Taoist Gets a Beating. Lin Ziasu laughed. So, dowries are just a way for poor people to trouble each other. When faced with the rich, even the most difficult women suddenly become understanding. Who says otherwise? I told my mom that the 3 million is my gift to her, but she must hold on to it tightly. The tighter she holds it, the more dutiful and virtuous my sister-in-law will be, Miao Ruolan said. Josai also reminded me, with the money in Mom's hands, my sister-in-law will have to find a way to manage the mother-in-law relationship. You figured women out so well you should switch careers to matchmaking. Lin Zaiasu chuckled softly and glanced around. Where's Josai? Zier went out to handle a case. Miao Ruolan suddenly turned her gaze to the door. Oh, she's back. Why is Jo Mei here too? Lin Zaiasu looked towards the door and saw the two Jo beauties. Jo Mei was dressed in a police uniform, looking valiant and spirited. Josai was wearing a white down jacket, appearing pure and elegant. The door opened, and the eyes of the two Jo beauties brightened simultaneously. Brother Lin, when did you come back? Josai called. Just barely sat down, Lin Zaiasu replied. Are you two handling a case together? Not at all. This case today, I dare say you've never seen anything like it. Utterly bizarre, too bizarre, Josai said. What's so bizarre about it? Lin Zaiasu showed interest. Josai took a sip from the tea handed over by Miao Ruolan. Two parties involved, beaten till they bled from the head. We've seen that plenty. But have you seen the two parties join forces to beat a completely irrelevant passerby till he's black and blue? I really haven't seen that. Why did it happen? Miao Ruolan was curious. This passerby really deserved it, Josai said. While the parties are embroiled in a struggle over the inheritance of a minor child, he barges in and blurts out, the child is the man's biological offspring. Isn't that asking for it? Meddling with such a sensitive matter really asks for a beating. Miao Ruolan nodded. Jo Mei spoke up. Do you know who the beaten person is? It's Tashin's mad Taoist. Lin Zaiasu was slightly taken aback. The mad Taoist who makes Mao Ren. Isn't it just, Jo Mei said, because the beating was so severe I rushed to the scene. Lin Zaiasu's heart skipped slightly. The mad Taoist. To outsiders, he was the mad Taoist. But to him, there was more to it. The mad Taoist made countless Mao Ren, leading to a bizarre case of Mao Ren murder, which was the case that Jo Mei handled last time. Jo Mei explained it as a coincidence afterwards. The police also classified it as a coincidence. Only Lin Zaiasu knew it was not a coincidence, it was cause and effect. In his secret realm space, that Mao Ren still remained, each blade of grass carrying a mysterious causal connection. The law of cause and effect, one of the heavenly Tao 7 techniques, mysterious and high-level beyond imagination. This mad Taoist had always been a recluse in his mind. Yet today, this wise hermit was wandering the streets, beaten till his face was bruised. The cause was, he said something he shouldn't have and was highly sensitive, claiming the child wasn't biologically related. Could there be hidden truths behind this? Originally, upon returning to Fengcheng, Lin Zaiasu was in a state of rest. He rarely questioned matters of the detective agency. For cases, they were mainly handled by the two women with full authority. However, this time upon returning to Fengcheng, the case had ties to the mad Taoist. Zier, tell me about this case. Josai said, this case isn't really a case, just a civil dispute triggered by a suicide note. At the foot of Tashin, there's an ordinary rural family with their only son named Ding Shuang. This Ding Shuang was one of the few capable men in Fengcheng County, starting a factory from scratch and accumulating tens of millions in assets, with over 4 million in liquid funds in the account. Originally, he could have been the pinnacle of young men in Fengcheng. But an unforeseen event occurred. He committed suicide by jumping off a building, leaving behind a suicide note detailing his reasons for dying, expressing his struggle with depression and torment day and night, thus choosing to end his life, and his wishes for inheritance distribution, leaving all his assets to his wife Yin Yuxia and son Ding Yi. Ding Shuang's parents disagreed. Though rural folks, although they admitted they hadn't much helped their son in his career, their son's untimely death left them disconnected from all assets, including the house bought by their son where they currently reside, which must be returned to their daughter-in-law, posing a dilemma for their twilight years. Just because they couldn't swallow their anger, the elderly couple approached the detective agency, prompting Josai's investigation. The suicide note had undergone handwriting analysis, confirmed as Ding Shuang's own. Ding Shuang indeed suffered from depression. The suicide occurred at the building across, where people were dancing in the square downstairs. Everyone could testify it was true. This case in reality had limited room, as the legal efficacy of inheritance wills naturally outweighed statutory inheritance. Ding Shuang's will provided all personal wealth to his wife and son, although slightly unreasonable emotionally, legally flawless. Josai felt the unreasonable aspect was the house currently inhabited by the elderly pair. The house is registered under Ding Shuang's name and was promised as a purchase for the old couple. The elderly couple has been living here for a long time. The house back in their hometown collapsed ages ago. Now their son is gone, and legally this house belongs to their daughter-in-law, who has issued them an ultimatum to move out before the Lunar New Year. They couldn't accept it. Josai felt it was somewhat excessive too. They went to see their daughter-in-law, Yin Yuxia, today to discuss the house, but Yin Yuxia was very adamant, showing no signs of compromise. Both parties started arguing outside the complex, and the mad Taoist, passing by, suddenly said to the child's grandfather, "This child isn't your son's biological child." Yin Yuxia was furious on the spot, and her cousin knocked the mad Taoist down with a punch right there. The Ding family's old couple couldn't bear it, saying, "My son is dead, and now you're cursing him to have no descendants." Thus, the single fight turned into a brawl. Miao Ruolan frowned deeply. Even if the mad Taoist has lived too long on the mountain and doesn't quite understand worldly matters, speaking bluntly, he's still not mentally ill. Why would he jump in to take a beating? Jo Mei felt a slight jolt, her gaze shifting to Lin Zaiasu. Lin Zaiasu, holding a teacup, stood up and walked out of the detective agency. He glanced at the building across the street, the same building Ding Shuang jumped from 2 months ago at night, under a sky densely covered with clouds. His eyes at this moment gleamed slightly. "Jo Mei," Lin Zaiasu slowly turned back. "That mad Taoist got beaten. Shall we go check on him?" The three at the detective agency looked at each other. Jo Mei furrowed her brows deeply. "He just got a bloody nose and a swollen face, no serious injuries. He went home right after." An old man, living alone in the mountains, got beaten up and could only return home alone. How pitiful, Lin Zaiasu said. "Let's go visit him. After all, he's an old acquaintance." Jo Mei took a deep breath. All right. After leaving the detective agency, she got into her car, and Lin Zaiasu opened the door and got into the passenger seat. Jo Mei glanced over. "What are you up to?" "Don't overthink it. I really just want to visit him." "Why?" "Because I want to know what basis he has for claiming the child isn't biological." Jo Mei's brow stayed creased. Even if he overheard something, even if he saw the woman having an affair on Tashin, so what? Isn't it just a moral issue? It has nothing to do with me. If you really want a woman to accompany you to hike Tashin, you can find Josai. She's the one in charge of this case. "What if the suicide by jumping wasn't a suicide?" Lin Zaiasu said. Jo Mei was thoroughly shocked. What if this is a heinous murder case that tests the moral limits of humanity, showcasing human evil? Jo Mei stared intently at him. "What have you discovered?" "This case of jumping might not be a suicide but a murder," Lin Zaiasu said. "I have reason to believe this murder is related to that woman, Yin Yuxia, conspiring to kill her husband, unsatisfied with tens of millions in windfalls, and even wanting to drive her parents-in-law out of the only house they have. How greedy can she be? If her son isn't even her husband's, she's challenging the 5,000-year bottom line of female wrongdoing." Jo Mei took a deep breath. "You only just got involved in this case." "Yes." "You're judging solely based on your thoughts." "Not necessarily. I've been back for half a day and already visited the crime scene." "You really?" Jo Mei's chest rose and fell gently, leaving the next part of her sentence unsaid. Lin Zaiasu said, "If everything is as I say, do you have any reason not to get involved? If what you say is true, then the woman's malice indeed challenges the conscience and baseline of humanity. Her actions violate the law. I, Jo Mei, cannot tolerate her," Jo Mei said. "How should we verify it?" "The first step is to visit Tashin and see the mad Taoist." "Let's go." The car sped to Tashin. Driving along the undeveloped, even gradually abandoned trail, they reached the rock cliff marked with the words, "Faithful men and women seeking flowers and romance." The cave was as dilapidated as ever. There were still several Mao Ren at the cave entrance. Having just experienced a long autumn rain, the Mao Ren were also in disrepair. Lin Zaiasu's fingers brushed over these Mao Ren, sensing a feeling entirely different from what the naked eye could see. The straw inside these Mao Ren were connected by the law of cause and effect, with not a single broken piece. Sitting at the cave entrance was an old Taoist, with a bruised and swollen face, looking very dejected. "Taoist took a beating today." Lin Zaiasu enthusiastically greeted him. Jo Mei's first reaction was, "Why does this feel a bit sarcastic? Is this how you greet someone?" The Taoist gritted his teeth. Kid, are you here to see if I made a fool of myself? Taoist, you really don't know who's good to you. Others beat you, a crowd laughs at you. As soon as I got back to Fengcheng, I dropped my bag and came to visit you. You have to believe in all of Fengcheng, I'm the one who's relatively nicer to you. The old Taoist rolled his eyes, not knowing how to respond. Lin Ziasu leaned in a bit. Actually, Taoist, you can't blame anyone for beating you, you were asking for it. The Taoist's eyes rolled, showing signs of exasperation. Chapter 541, Chapter 540, Karma Determines Parenthood. Lin Ziasu completely didn't see it, squatted at the entrance of the cave. Let me ask you something. Why did you say that the family's child wasn't their own biological child? Consider it talking nonsense. Is that okay? Said the Taoist. No, that's not an official answer, Lin Ziasu said. Don't forget, I gave you 3,000 yuan last time and you haven't used it all yet. If you don't give me a satisfactory answer, you'll have to refund me. Last time, according to the Taoist's asking price, 1 yuan per word, Lin Ziasu gave the Taoist 3,000 yuan at once. After saying only a few words, he went down the mountain. In theory, the Taoist still owes him more than 1,000 words. The Taoist shook his head and sighed. Since you are asking the Tao, then let me tell you, the heavenly Tao has causality, the human path also has causality. With my discerning eye, there is no causal connection between this child and this old couple, but rather a causal connection with that cousin. Therefore, I assert that this child is not the biological grandson of the old couple, but is indeed the flesh and blood of the cousin. Brother Lin went up the mountain to ask the Tao, generously spending a fortune, and I sincerely explained the Tao, speaking words worth thousands in gold. Your path and mine with the Tao are now clear. Zhou Mei widened her eyes. Old man, you spoke twice, I was present both times. Calculated at a yuan per word, did you really say 3,000 words? Purely by word count, it's only 2,000. However, during this period, I farted several times, and the airflow of 1,000 strands is also the sound of the great Tao. Before the words were finished, a loud fart resounded in endless loops. Zhou Mei jumped up, covering her nose, glaring angrily. She's a girl, she can't curse. Otherwise, she would curse your ancestors, you stinky Taoist, you're too much, calling a fart the sound of the great Tao, blatantly charging money. Is there any reason for that in the world? However, Lin Ziasu squatted there, dazed and lost in thought. The heavenly Tao has causality, human path also has causality. A child is developed from the father's essence. A natural causal connection exists between father and child. And this old couple has no blood causal connection with their grandson. Conversely, that cousin has a blood causal connection with this grandson. This is the mad Taoist conducting a paternity test for the child. Not using modern medicine, but using the law of cause and effect. Lin Ziasu has already entered the realm of the law of cause and effect. Next, perhaps he can verify. I'm leaving. Next time you get beaten, I'll come to see you. Lin Ziasu stood up. Damn, can you speak properly? The Taoist was also annoyed. Don't get upset. Lin Ziasu hurriedly stopped him. You need to know I came to ask the Tao today, and you charge 1 yuan per word. For those 6 words just now, I'm not paying. You bastard, next time I'll make a special rate for you, 10 yuan per word. Old man, don't push your luck. Your crappy Tao inquiry has no other customers besides me. Do you want to drive away your only customer? The old Taoist glared at him, speechless for a moment. Zhou Mei, let's go down the mountain. Zhou Mei followed him, running a little, taking a deep breath at the corner in front. That stinky Taoist really farted just now. I'm not using it as a metaphor, I mean a real physiological fart. Farting, according to him, is also the sound of the great Tao, Lin Ziasu said. Don't you want to try to feel it? Do I look sick feeling his fart? Zhou Mei gave him a sidelong glance. This ends here, don't tell anyone, it's shameful. Lin Ziasu smiled but said nothing. The two of them got back in the car. Zhou Mei said, the first step is done, what's the next step? Let's bring Ruolan and Zhou Zai along. We'll go meet Yin Yuxia. A phone call was made, and Ruolan and Zhou Zai immediately hopped into the detective agency's car. With one step on the gas, they arrived at the neighborhood where Yin Yuxia lived. Zhou Zai got out of the car, very excited. Brother Lin, you haven't worked on a case for a long time. Today I have to take a good look and learn from the world-renowned style of the first detective. This is true. Lin Zai also hasn't handled a case in Fengcheng since 2 years ago, at the beginning of the detective agency when he handled a few cases. Particularly after Zhou Zai joined the detective agency, he hadn't worked on a case in Fengcheng. According to Miao Ruolan, he finds the cases in Fengcheng too low-end. For an average person, this sounds a bit snobbish, but for him, it's not, because the things he does outside often influence international affairs. The funding he receives for cases, sometimes a transfer of 8 digits, is enough to show that the cases in Fengcheng are indeed too low-end for him. Lin Ziyasu smiled. Let's go. The group, under Zhou Zai's guidance, entered the neighborhood. This neighborhood was developed 7 years ago, and at the time, it was the highest-priced neighborhood in Fengcheng. Facing the Yishui River, it was made into an artificial landscape, and the internal greenery of the neighborhood was quite well done. There are tall buildings and low-rise villas. Those who choose the low-rise villas are truly either rich or noble, by small-town standards. Ding Shuang chose a low-rise villa. It occupies 230 square meters, with 2.5 floors, and the courtyard is fenced. Even though Ding Shuang is no longer there, the small garden is still kept very tidy. The doorbell is pressed. A young man came out of the villa. This young man, quite handsome, his face sank when he saw Zhou Zai. What are you doing here again? Get out. Open the door. Zhou Mei stepped forward. The young man said coldly, Sister Zia has nothing to talk about with you. Just pass this message to those 2 old farts. Move out of Sister Zia's house within 3 days or I'll help them move. Zhou Mei raised her hand, showing her police badge. Take a look. The young man said coldly, so what if you're a cop? Sister Zia doesn't want to talk to you. I'm on duty. Open the door. Zhou Mei's voice was low. However, the young man laughed. Police so great, I dare to. Boom. The gate behind them flew out directly. The young man's eyes widened suddenly. It was Zhou Mei who kicked the gate. It was Lin Ziyasu. Lin Ziyasu, who had been silent, kicked out just once, and this exquisitely crafted, several hundred-pound gate was kicked open, crashing heavily into the small garden in front of them, leaving it in chaos. Miao Ruolan and Zhou Zai were shocked. Even Zhou Mei was surprised. Police conducting an investigation will certainly have necessary enforcement measures, yet causing such a scene is something everyone tries to avoid. Kicking the gate out, smashing the garden landscape to pieces. Isn't it just providing an excuse for others? The young man's face changed drastically. You're using excessive force. A woman rushed out from inside the villa. She was beautiful, with a great figure and well-dressed. Upon seeing the situation in the garden, she let out a scream, her beautiful face twisting. This was Yin Yuxia. And now from the second floor of the villa, 2 elderly people in their 50s or 60s came rushing down, along with someone who looked like a nanny, holding a 2- or 3-year-old boy. The whole household was stirred. Yin Yuxia pulled out her phone, snapping pictures of the garden, then of Zhou Mei. Dare to trespass my home and destroy my garden. I'll strip your police uniform. Zhou Mei frowned. But Lin Ziyasu beside her smiled faintly. Don't get the wrong target. I'm the one who kicked your door. I'm not a cop. Even if you're capable of stripping a police uniform, I don't have one. How would you strip it from me? Who are you? What right do you have to kick my door? Yin Yuxia was furious. Don't get caught up over a broken door, Lin Ziyasu said. Once I say a few words, you'll realize that a broken door is nothing worth mentioning. The scene fell silent. Lin Ziyasu slowly extended a finger. First sentence. Ding Shuang did not jump to her death. She was thrown down by your cousin here. Yin Yuxia's face suddenly changed. You. Zhou Zai and Miao Ruolan were shocked, their hands gripping together tightly. Meanwhile, in the neighborhood, countless people were coming out to their balconies. Outside the door of the standalone villa, a bunch of neighbors gathered, all astounded. And that cousin seemed stunned for a moment, then bounced up. How dare you slander me? You're asking for it. Slap. A slap appeared as if out of thin air, landing squarely on the cousin's shoulder. A seemingly light palm for him was like a mountain. The bones all over the cousin's body crackled, and even with all his strength, he couldn't move an inch. Lin Ziyasu extended a second finger. Second sentence. This child is the biological son of this cousin, clearly not Ding Shuang's biological child. Yin Yuxia's face was flushed. You. The mad Taoist said the same thing once, getting beaten black and blue by the cousin. Today, Lin Ziyasu said the same, but even more explicitly and specifically. Sadly, no one could beat him. The only one who could fight was now held down by Lin Ziyasu's palm, unable to budge an inch, veins bulging on his forehead. The entire community was dumbfounded. Ding Shuang was murdered. This child is Ding Shuang's either, but belongs to this cousin. Heaven, this gossip is truly explosive. Lin Ziaosu extended a third finger. Third sentence. I have reason to believe the suicide note Ding Shuang left was forged. Ding Shuang's death was a meticulously planned murder by you, a wicked woman, to seize the inheritance. Yin Yuxia furiously lunged forward. You slanderous rat, I'll call the police, I'll have you arrested. Zhou Mei stepped forward, standing in her way. Now you think of the police. Fine, call them. I'll help set a new record for the fastest police response. Yin Yuxia was dumbfounded, her lips trembling. You will pay for this, you will all pay a price. The garden was ruined. She caused a huge scandal in the entire neighborhood, her reputation utterly tarnished. She must make them regret this. Lin Ziaosu exhaled lightly, extending a fourth finger. Fourth sentence, Yin Yuxia, you murdered your husband, seized others' property, not even leaving a child behind, and you refused to let go of the last residence of the helpless elderly couple either. I've seen much evil, but the kind that leaches into the bone, the kind that challenges human decency like yours, is rare indeed. Someone like you, who isn't fit to be human, the heavenly Tao can't tolerate you living one more day. Chapter 542. Chapter 541. Teaching Zhou de Kongxuan. Yin Yuxia appeared frenzied, shouting, You're just spouting nonsense, you'll die a horrible death. You say I'm spouting nonsense, very well. I'll have your lover speak up and we'll see who dies horribly. Lin Ziaosu raised his hand, letting go of the cousin under his palm. The cousin stood quietly in place, his expression very calm. Speak, Lin Ziaosu said. Was it you who killed Ding Shuang? Yes, the word rang clearly in everyone's ears. The crowd of onlookers around the neighborhood collectively gasped. Yin Yuxia staggered, almost falling over, hurriedly steadied herself, and looked at this cousin in disbelief, her mind a complete blank. Zhou Mei's eyes suddenly brightened. How did you kill him? The cousin said, That night, Yin Yuxia put dulcanazole in his tea, he passed out, and I carried him to the roof and threw him down from it. The entire crowd erupted. Yin Yuxia screamed, He's lying. Dulcanazole, where is it? In the bedside drawer on the second floor. Yin Yuxia turned her head sharply, ready to rush up to the second floor, but Zhou Mei was there. Would she allow her to destroy the evidence? She reached out, grabbed her, and with her other hand dialed Chief Zhang's phone. Two elderly people wanted to enter the house. Zhou Zai took a step forward, standing at the stairs to the second floor. Is this child yours? And Yin Yuxia s. Yes. When did you start getting involved with her? The crowd of onlookers heard a complete human tragedy. Yin Yuxia and this cousin were, in fact, foul-smelling lovers long ago, together even before knowing Ding Shuang. Neither had money, but both wanted to live a wealthy life. Hence, they planned this big act. Yin Yuxia seduced Ding Shuang, while her boyfriend posed as a cousin. After Ding Shuang married this woman, she continually poisoned her husband with a nerve-damaging chronic poison, gradually weakening his nerves and worsening his health. Later, they felt the poison was too slow, so they decided to solve this big trouble once and for all, and thus planned the jumping suicide incident. And that crucial suicide note was the most ingenious part of the plan. In modern society, opportunities to write are few. Ding Shuang, as a small business owner, only wrote to sign important documents. Yin Yuxia, as Ding Shuang's personal secretary, did something no one knew. She had been imitating Ding Shuang's handwriting. For the past 3 years, Ding Shuang's health declined, and he rested in the office, leaving document signing to his wife as a norm. Therefore, after Ding Shuang's death, Yin Yuxia could easily forge a will authenticated as real by an agency. Just because the signature used for handwriting comparison and important document signature were all written by Yin Yuxia. Solely in terms of handwriting comparison, it was real against real. As the details deepened, Yin Yuxia collapsed entirely. Police sirens blared outside, and Chief Zhang entered the scene. Yin Yuxia was limply dragged into the police car. Meanwhile, the cousin in front of Lin Ziaosu quietly watched her, seemingly unable to empathize with his lover's complex emotions at the moment. Lin Ziaosu lightly smiled. Go, get on the police car. The cousin calmly walked toward the police car, climbing up on his own. The entire neighborhood was in an uproar. Zhou Mei took a deep breath, slowly turning to Lin Ziaosu. Why? Why did he cooperate so much? There are many ways to get someone to speak the truth, and mine is one you can't learn. Lin Ziaosu laughed. I won't elaborate with you. He got into Miao Ruelen's car. and left the scene with Josai. His departure stirred up a storm in Fengcheng. I hear that Lin Ziaosu from Fengcheng Detective Agency is the world's first detective, and today I truly witnessed it. Even such a secret murder case was easily solved. Today, it seemed like he didn't use any special detective skills, did he? It was just asking a few questions. Only that so-called cousin broke down upon seeing him and spilled everything. A minute on stage is 10 years of practice off stage. We only see today's simple conversation but not the hard work behind it. No skill is achieved overnight. I don't focus on detective skills. I'm concerned with the case itself. Do you think this woman could really be this evil? Yes, this truly challenges the boundaries of human wickedness. Countless discussions about this case spread throughout every corner of the neighborhood, entering the daily conversations of thousands of families in Fengcheng. Many with secrets were shocked upon hearing the explosive news, looking towards the west side of the city with eyes full of awe. There are signs that the grand scene Lin Ziaosu deliberately created will produce a subtle reaction in Fengcheng. Evildoers, if they have any sense, should not commit evil in Fengcheng. Fengcheng has this detective agency, a detective like Lin Ziaosu. No matter how deep your evil, he can dig it out, and once it's dug out, you're done. This may actually be the real reason Lin Ziaosu chose to kick down doors and try this case in public. The times are changing, buildings are crumbling. At this time, chaos must not arise from the rear. Fengcheng is a strategic rear base. Miao Ruolan's car sped through the streets along the Yishui River, turned into West City, and arrived at the detective agency's door. With a screech, it came to a halt. Josai got out of the car, looked up at the sunset painting the Yishui River gold, and exhaled a long breath. Who would have thought what started as a small property dispute case would suddenly turn into a murder case? That's what's called life's uncertainties. Cases are also uncertain, Lin Ziaosu said. I understand the unpredictability of cases in theory, but I don't have Brother Lin's insight to discover their unpredictability. Ah, Brother Lin, teach me and Sister Lan your true skills. Lin Ziaosu smiled. Some things can be taught, some things really cannot. It's better for you to solidify your basics and focus on advancing your ancient martial. Speaking of cultivating ancient martial, I do have something, Josai said. I just can't master my Dakongxuan, can you teach me? Josai suddenly brought up the matter. Miao Ruolan's heart suddenly skipped a beat as she was opening the door. Oh my God, this matter has finally been brought up with him. Will he agree? If he agrees, his devilish hands would be on Josai's rabbit head all night. Can Josai handle it? If not, by tomorrow morning, she and Josai would probably be his bed partners. All right, Lin Ziaosu said, let's go have dinner first. After dinner, I'll help you. Josai was overjoyed and ran next door to order food. This dinner she devoured quickly, hardly tasting the food. And what about Miao Ruolan? She also hardly tasted the food. After dinner, the sky was completely dark. Miao Ruolan followed them back to the detective agency, turned around at the door. I'll go for a walk, you guys practice martial arts. Lin Ziaosu called after her, come along. Come along. Oh my God. Miao Ruolan felt her mind was in chaos. As long as he made a request, she would comply. Even during broad daylight, if he was in the mood to pull her into the room for some fun, she'd at most remind him a little, and then still comply. But tonight also comply. He's going to be pulling Josai's chubby rabbit with her beside, that's two. Lin Ziaosu extended his hand and directly pulled her, come on. The detective agency door closed. Lin Ziaosu entered Josai's room. The curtains were drawn, Josai's cheeks were a bit red, her heart a bit chaotic. She took off her shoes and got onto the bed. How do we do this, Brother Lin? Just sit like this, I'll guide your true chi to operate. When these words were spoken, Miao Ruolan, who was preparing to sneak out the door, stopped, her eyes widened. Lin Ziaosu pointed a finger at Josai's forehead. Josai closed her eyes. Time slowly ticked away. Josai's miscellaneous thoughts gradually cleared. Finally, she sensed Lin Ziaosu's true chi. His true chi merged with hers, performing a kind of extraordinary operation. Passing through several unfamiliar paths, experiencing a kind of pain and pleasure. The secrets of Dakongxuan gradually emerged in her mind, forming a swirling airflow within the trajectory of the true chi. An hour later, Josai's eyes suddenly opened. Her eyes were shining. Brother Lin, I feel I can do it. Try it. Josai extended her hand, picked up a pen from the bedside. With a hiss, the pen shot out the window and lodged in a willow tree outside the bed. The pen, spinning at high speed, penetrated more than 4 inches into the old willow. Such power, such destructive force, not to mention surpassing a bullet, it is not much lesser either. The Kongshuan is mastered. Mastered. Josai jumped up. Brother Lin, you're amazing. Seeing this stance, she was almost compelled to hug Lin Zaiasu, but suddenly she stopped because she saw a third person in the room. Miao Yulan had been there all along. Lin Zaiasu said, the core essence of Dakongshuan is to act silently and to spin quickly upon reaching the target, the former making it undetectable, the latter making it uncounterable. You've managed the rapid spin, but beginning to spin at the start is not true Dakongshuan in essence. It needs to be even subtler. Tonight I won't sleep, I will contemplate, Josai said. All right, we're leaving. Lin Zaiasu took Miao Yulan with him and left Josai's room. The door locked with a click. Entering Lin Zaiasu's room, Miao Yulan's face was red. You and Zier didn't go through that process. What process? You know, like pulling on her big rabbit, spinning and rubbing slowly. What are you talking about? Does Dakongshuan need that method for practice? It only requires the operation of true qi, and true qi can enter anywhere. Miao Yulan tilted her face, but with me it's like that. Can you compare? I was just taking advantage of the situation. These 2 big rabbits of yours feel so good, why not touch them? Lin Zaiasu's hand slipped under her clothes. They feel even better now. Miao Yulan let out a gentle moan. I won't call you little Sue anymore. I'll call you little rascal. This night Josai didn't eavesdrop. Her full attention was on the newly acquired Dakongshuan, operating it over and over, the sound of her moves becoming more gentle, yet the true power of Dakongshuan was steadily enhancing. Of course, this change was subtle, far less immediate than Lin Zaiasu's early learning. Nevertheless, she also detected this change. Given time, her Dakongshuan could catch up with Jomei, perhaps even Sister Lan. A long-held pursuit finally achieved. So satisfying. It's almost dawn now, did they do it or not? With this thought, Josai couldn't help but guide her true qi to her ears. As she did, she suddenly felt that her hearing seemed stronger than before. She could even hear whispers. Chapter 543. Chapter 542. The blocked path may reopen. Miao Yulan whispered, the day has dawned, you little rascal, are you still coming? You said yesterday that your good fortune was about to arrive. Why not make the most of it and play a few more rounds? Then be gentle. A soft sound. Gentle undulations. Josai lay in bed, her forehead covered in sweat. What does that feel like? Is Sister Lan in pain or in pleasure? Half an hour later, Miao Yulan let out a soft cry, as if sobbing. Josai's legs were stretched straight, her mind blank. Miao Yulan had been up for a long time. Josai lazily lay in bed, not wanting to move. Miao Yulan naturally thought that Josai was just catching up on sleep after working hard all night. How could she know that Josai wasn't sleepy at all? Her whole body seemed to be soaking in hot water, her blood almost boiling. Lin Zaiasu didn't get up until after 9 in the morning, leisurely heading down to the detective agency. Miao Yulan had prepared breakfast for him as usual. After breakfast, he greeted Ryulan, said he planned to visit home, and then rode off on Ryulan's little motorcycle. Just as he started it, he saw 2 elderly people. The 2 elderly people entered the detective agency, thud, kneeling in front of Josai. Josai panicked. Uncle Ding and Song, don't do this. The old man lifted his head, tears streaming down his face. Without Miss Jo's help, no one would have known about my son's injustice. He died with eyes wide open. Miss, he can't kneel to you, so I'll kneel instead. Uncle Ding, yesterday's case was handled by Detective Lin. Lin Zaiasu started the motorcycle and dashed away. These 2 elderly people were Ding Shuang's parents. When they heard about yesterday's case today, they rushed over. They just wanted to rely on their son's house for their old age. And they probably couldn't even keep it. But with Lin Zaiasu handling the case, he avenged Ding Shuang, letting him rest in peace, and he also secured all of his son's assets for the elderly couple. Yes, Ding Shuang's assets would wholly go to this elderly couple. All because the will was forged. And because this so-called son wasn't actually Ding Shuang's son at all. The parents of this little child committed murder, forged a will, and naturally, the entire family lost their inheritance rights. The motorcycle sped along the road, Lin Zayasu's mind racing with thoughts. This case was small, but for these elderly people, it was significant. And for Lin Zayasu, what he gained was outside the case. For the first time in his life, he attempted a new law, the law of cause and effect. Under the law of cause and effect, he found the chain mad Taoists spoke of, the mysterious connection between the child and the cousin, making a paternity test at a glance. In modern society, this would be an incredible divine skill, wouldn't it? If people knew he had such divine skills, would those with guilt in their hearts still dare to stand before him? If Lin Zaiasu wanted his life and social circles to remain relatively normal, the best way would be to keep this ability a secret. Otherwise, as Blue Demon said, if one becomes too perceptive, they will have no companion. The little motorcycle rode through Yishui Avenue, crossed the South Gate Bridge, arriving at Tashin Lake. New Year's just passed. The lunar calendar was entering the beginning of December. Even though the sun was shining brightly, the winter chill was still all around. There were many motorcycles passing by, each person bundled up tightly, except for Lin Zaiasu, whose clothes weren't thick and his face was uncovered. He turned the motorcycle towards Tashin Lake. Tashin Lake in the morning. There weren't many people around, only a few grandparents watching over children. He could easily verify if these children were the offspring of the elderly, but he wasn't that bored. He closed off the channel of the law of cause and effect, passed by the small lake with a normal heart, and arrived in front of a small garden. This small garden in springtime didn't show anything unusual. But at this moment, when other gardens were desolate, the peculiarity of this garden stood out. The small garden had a vibrant life that other gardens lacked. As soon as he arrived, a golden-haired, blue-eyed beauty on a platform near the small lake opened her eyes, quietly looking at him, with a faint smile on her face. Saintess Qian Ling. The door's not locked, come in, said Saintess Qian Ling. Lin Zaiasu strolled in, walking onto the platform. When did you come back? I left Bainan province as soon as you did. Saintess Qian Ling stretched out her hand, pouring him a cup of tea. I heard you went to Yangcheng. Wandered around for a few days, just got back yesterday. Lin Zaiasu took the teacup from her, sipped it, and placed it on the nearby table. Cracked a major case as soon as you got back. You knew about it too. You know how I found out? It was the delivery guy who just brought me my food that told me. Saintess Qian Ling smiled gently. In the whole of Fengcheng, those who have done evil or intend to do evil must see you as a mouse sees a cat. Is this the effect you wanted to achieve? Otherwise, you didn't need to be so ostentatious. Something like that, Lin Zaiasu said. With the impending catastrophe, even if everyone's hearts were united, it might not be enough to avert the heavens-toppling disaster. If evildoers cause trouble from behind, it adds to the uncertainty. Other places I can't manage, but Fengcheng, I hope to be a pure land. Saintess Qian Ling slowly lifted her gaze, looking at the sky. Sometimes I really think you're foolish. Clearly, the whole world is in chaos and turmoil, clearly knowing the end is imminent and beyond human salvage, yet you refuse to believe in evil and still wish to leave a pure land. When the world is broken, someone has to mend it. You truly seem like a destined one to face calamity, but unfortunately, Saintess Qian Ling didn't finish her sentence. Unfortunately, my path has ultimately been severed, right? Yes, that's why you're foolish, Saintess Qian Ling sighed softly. It's all right, truly all right, Lin Zaiasu said. Some things once done, there's no regret. Even if my path is severed, there will always be others. I came over today to bring you a gift. His finger lifted gently, his fingertip sparkling and translucent. The last drop of heavenly star tears, Saintess Qian Ling said. Yes. His fingertip flicked, and this drop of heavenly star tears shot into the center of Saintess Qian Ling's brow. Saintess Qian Ling's whole body suddenly shimmered with radiant light, her voice seemingly from a dreamlike fairyland. I've gathered 9 heavenly star tears, I'm complete. And the giver, however, cannot be complete. Don't you think it's unfair? Lin Zaiasu laughed. The greatest fairness in the world is that everyone has their own unfairness. That remark is quite philosophical, Saintess Qian Ling said, but I still want to give you something in return. What? Lin Zaiasu's heart skipped slightly. Could she possibly mean offering herself as reciprocation? If that's the case, don't blame brother for not being bashful. If you dare to give, I truly dare to accept. My own path is severed. I can't do much more for this world, So I'll recruit you, this ancient powerhouse, to do something for the human clan. If you dare to take this step, I'll use my infamous means through the flowers to make you unable to resist. Saintess Kyan Ling said, I want to extend your severed road. Within Lin Zaiasu, a massive tide surged instantaneously. His severed road to be extended. Can a severed road be extended? A road that can be extended, is it still a severed road? Heaven bears witness, though he seemed calm and serene during this period, how many knew the torment within. Thinking about the near future, when powerful enemies from the strange realm would break through, and he would be powerless to resist. Though he has no regrets, he truly suffers. And now, this ancient great power actually told him his severed road can be extended. My road can be extended. I used to think it couldn't, but now, I believe it might be possible. Lin Zaiasu's heart pounded, tell me. Saintess Kyan Ling said, in your case, there are probably only two ways in the world to extend it, and the first is the sword Dao. Sword Dao? Indeed. Saintess Kyan Ling elaborated from there. A sword is a weapon many cultivators use. In the hands of ordinary people, it's just a tool. However, in the hands of a dedicated sword cultivator, the sword is also the way. What is a sword cultivator? A practitioner of the killing technique, upholding the way of the sword, yet when faced with injustice, one sword can cut it down. Sword cultivators are the most deadly among cultivators, stronger than others at the same level of cultivation. Sword cultivators perceive the rules of the sword Dao. It begins with sword intent, then sword azure flower, followed by refined sword fruit, then sword world, and above the sword world is great freedom and transcendence. Generally, sword intent begins with observing heaven. Possessing sword intent in observing heaven realm is almost invincible below the fourth realm. An azure flower begins at the first stage of enlightenment realm, enlightenment of body. Refined fruit starts at the second stage of enlightenment realm, enlightenment of God. The sword world can only exist at the end of the enlightenment realm, enlightenment rules. As for the great freedom and transcendence realm above the sword world, that belongs to the realm of holding the way. This knowledge entered Lin Zaiasu's mind, supplementing his foundational understanding of the sword Dao coursework. His brow slowly furrowed. The starting stage of sword intent is observing heaven, and both you and I know I can never enter the observing heaven realm in my life, so what meaning does sword intent have for me? Why do you think sword Dao can extend my severed path? Saintess Kyan Ling said, you speak of the general rule, however, you really don't know, the rules have been broken on you. What? Saintess Kyan Ling said, your technique of Li Ren tears already has the shadow of sword intent. Proceeding in this direction, you have the hope of creating a miracle, obtaining sword intent without entering observing heaven. Li Ren tears. She has seen him use Li Ren tears many times. She is an ancient great power, with transcendent insight. Most people can only see the astonishing beauty and lethal power of Li Ren tears, but she sees through the phenomenon to the essence, which is that this move contains the shadow of sword intent. Lin Zaiasu took a light breath. If I indeed obtain sword intent, what would happen? If sword intent takes shape, you can overpower the entire observing heaven realm. Just overpowering observing heaven, that doesn't seem much. Lin Zaiasu was somewhat disappointed. She spoke of sword intent as something magical, yet in truth, even with sword intent, it can only overpower observing heaven. The fact is, as long as there's water, he can already overpower observing heaven now. So what difference does having sword intent make? Saintess Kyan Ling gently shook her head. You are currently just observing Earth. To overpower an entire major realm above you, you find it ordinary. I roughly understand. You are using the observing heaven from reality as a reference. But this is the end of Dharma era. The current era's observing heaven, placed in the ancient great world, is likely the most rubbish level of observing heaven. As long as you possess sword intent, you can contend with the true observing heaven of the ancient great world, even sweep through it. That's true too, the concept of realms is very deceptive, Lin Zaiasu said. Suppose my sword intent progresses further, can it contend with the enlightenment realm? Chapter 544, Chapter 543, Willow as a Screen, Sword Practice by the Lake. To contend against the enlightenment realm, you're dreaming too big. Saintess Kyan Ling smiled gently. Even if you are unparalleled across the ages, having entered the second realm of sword intent, sword azure flower, before reaching observing heaven, At best, you could only have a brief contest with the breaking realm enlightenment realm in this current environment. This current environment, even if the enlightenment realm breaks the realm, it cannot fully utilize the power of the enlightenment realm. Even if he possesses Sword Azure Flower, at most he can only contend. However, when the day truly comes that the enlightenment realm can break the realm, the rules of Heavenly Tao will undoubtedly have been rewritten, and the enlightenment realm will have unlocked the locks of Heavenly Tao, allowing it to unleash its true power. Therefore, in this particular Heavenly Tao environment, contending with the enlightenment realm is essentially a false proposition. So, no matter how my sword Tao forces its way forward, it ultimately can't truly contend with the enlightenment realm, Lin Zaiasu said, isn't it? The barriers of cultivation are more difficult to break through than any other barrier in the world, especially the difference between the observing realm and enlightenment realm, which no one can surpass, Saintess Kaian Ling said, lifting her teacup with a sigh. But I can ultimately make my path move forward even a small step, Lin Zaiasu said. Yes. When the road is broken, you realize even advancing half an inch is delightful, Lin Zaiasu said. I'll try. At night, daytime is not suitable, Saintess Kaian Ling advised. All right, Lin Zaiasu nodded gently, as this place was Tashan Lake, with numerous tourists around the lakeside. Practicing sword techniques here at this time would be too astonishing. Anyway, Saintess Kaian Ling had already mentioned the method. I could practice at night by just finding a quiet spot without people. Suddenly, a thought occurred to him. You said there were two methods, Sword Tao is just one. Saintess Kaian Ling smiled gently. You're surprising. At first you seemed truly indifferent about your road ending, but now you're in a hurry. Of course, mainly thinking that in the future when you're climbing and struggling alone on this road, without anyone to accompany you, it won't sit well with me, so I want to follow you a bit more. Saintess Kaian Ling chuckled. How many girls have you deceived with that mouth of yours? Fine, I fell for your trick, but you'll be disappointed because the second path has almost no chance of success. Tell me. The second path is body cultivation. Body cultivation corresponds to magic cultivation. Magic cultivation cultivates true yuan, cultivates realms. Body cultivation cultivates the flesh. A sufficiently formidable fleshly body has precedence of becoming a sacred body, reaching the level of fleshly sanctification, immune to worldly laws, and even without true qi, one can dominate an era with a powerful fleshly body. However, the difficulty of body cultivation is akin to ascending to heaven. It requires body cultivation techniques and the tempering of various heavenly materials and earthly treasures, not to mention the availability of those treasures in this world. They might not be found at all, and the essential body cultivation techniques are lacking. I feel like you've mentioned before that the flesh star body refining method is very effective. My constitution has improved greatly since then, Lin Zaiasu said. Saintess Kaian Ling replied, that's not the same concept. You succeeded in flesh star body refining because flesh star itself is a part of you and can be easily integrated. It's impossible to merge other heavenly materials and earthly treasures. This is similar to modern gene theory, where integrating various biological genes into the human body can strengthen it, as everyone knows. But have you seen anyone pour an array of strange genes into the body like cooking pig fodder? Because there is rejection among genes and rejection among heavenly materials and earthly treasures. Lin Zaiasu was moved. Again with gene theory. That deadly shackle once more. If the issue of rejection could be solved. Saintess Kaian Ling said, body refining techniques are actually working to solve this rejection issue. For instance, the Demon Clan's heaven-devouring demon technique is one of the most outstanding techniques, capable of converting anything into energy, thus serving as nutrients for the flesh. But gains come with losses, especially with techniques. The stronger the technique, the greater the side effects. The heaven-devouring demon technique became forbidden because the converted energy cannot be purified, containing too many elements that affect one's psyche, similar to modern gene theory. At this point, Saintess Kaian Ling herself felt deep emotion. She was originally an ancient great power. Though she hadn't seen the body-refining methods of the ancient era, she knew some basic theories. Back then, people were accustomed to concluding the pros and cons of techniques with violating natural harmony, surely incurring divine retribution. Since seizing the knowledge of modern genes from Catherine, she formed her own theory internally, where many concepts incomprehensible in ancient times found explanations in this era. The side effects of body refining method are actually the same as modern society's gene rejection response. And Lin Ziyasu's mind was surging. Are body refining methods truly impractical? Why do I feel that they are precisely most feasible? He possesses secret realm space. The secret realm space contains spatial turbulence. He has tried many times, and whenever the spatial turbulence shattered the primordial crystal of a fierce beast, the energy contained within that crystal would enter his body via a mysterious channel. True Qi is unrelated to constitution. The aspect related to constitution is the creation gate. He found the concept of the creation gate in ancient texts from Myojo. He and Yixiang completed experiments, opened Yixiang's creation gate, and similarly witnessed his own creation gate. The primary function of the creation gate is to purify foreign genes, transform various inconceivable genes into pure energy, thereby strengthening the fleshly body. He does not practice the heaven-devouring demon technique. But isn't this creation gate just like the heaven-devouring demon technique? What he needs to do is simple. Use secret realm turbulence to shatter primordial crystals, then channel the energy to the creation gate, purify it through the creation gate, and channel it into his entire circulatory system. Do as you want to do. Doesn't he still have 4 crimson-scaled fish in his body? With a shift in his consciousness, one of the crimson-scaled fish was sent into the chaotic flow of space. Splash! The crimson scale, along with the primordial crystal, was completely shattered. His primordial spirit focused entirely on capturing this energy, which actually had no clear direction, merely an overflow, naturally sent into the blood tower. However, what Lin Ziyasu wanted was not for it to enter the blood tower, but to enter the creation gate. A passage needed to be created between the creation gate and the secret realm space. For the next half-day, Lin Ziyasu lay on a recliner on the platform, seemingly asleep. Saintess Qian Ling did not know that at this moment. He was completing a great project. The sun set in the west. A strange passage was thus established. The secret realm space was connected to the creation gate. The crimson scale energy that hadn't completely overflowed rushed through this passage into the creation gate, where it was transformed into pure energy, flowing into all the meridians of the body. Lin Ziyasu felt a strange sensation, as if all the blood vessels in his body had become alive, filled with vitality, and strength was increasing little by little. Feeling the strengthening of his body firsthand, Lin Ziyasu's heart was filled with ecstatic joy, a sentiment beyond words. Could the broken path truly be extended through this method? Having lost the path to observing heaven, is it forcing me to achieve the sanctity of the flesh? His eyes slowly opened, finding the night had already fallen heavily. The lakeside of Tashan Lake had become quiet. A few flickering lights cast shadows, causing the lake water to undulate steadily. What did you do last night? Didn't sleep all night, slept for 10 hours straight. Saintess Qian Ling's voice drifted over. This, Lin Ziyasu said. Now is sword practice time, I'm leaving. Where are you going? Isn't this place the best for practicing sword? It has water, Saintess Qian Ling said. Lin Ziyasu glanced around. The night was deep, but this area was still bustling. His Li Ren tears, the most beautiful sword Dao, created misty rain Jiangnan upon appearance, quite conspicuous at night. If people see it, capture it, by tomorrow it might spread across all major platforms. I understand your meaning. I'll pull a curtain for you. Saintess Qian Ling smiled gently and waved her hand. Suddenly, beside the little wooden house, a willow tree grew in the darkness. Its branches began to cover all the space densely. Lin Ziyasu's eyes widened. Your cultivation has improved. Saintess Qian Ling waved her hand, causing the tree to grow wildly. He'd seen it many times. But that was in battle, and it was a struggle for her to perform. Yet tonight, with a casual wave of her hand, a tree directly formed into a forest. Compared to the past, it's a significant improvement. Saintess Qian Ling smiled sweetly. With your 9 heavenly star tears, I have entered observing heaven. Lin Ziyasu stared at her. On the battlefield, you've always surpassed the Blood Trace King, yet you hadn't entered observing heaven. When you mentioned the ancient eras observing heaven, it actually referred to you at this moment. Saintess Qian Ling laughed. Therefore, when you truly master sword intent, you may test its depth on me. At this moment, she was observing heaven. She represented the ancient era's heavenly pride level observing heaven. When Lin Ziyasu's sword intent forms, he could test its depth on her. Upon hearing these words, Lin Zaiasu wanted to tell her, as a woman, do not let a man test depth on you. Modern society has twisted many terms. However, he didn't say much with a move of his hand, and beneath the willow forest hut, Li Ren tears activated. Beneath Li Ren tears, the waters of Tashan Lake rose quietly in the deep night, transforming into a mist. Within the mist, every water molecule could turn into a sword. Saintess Kyan Ling's eyes sparkled brightly, carefully capturing the connections between these water molecules. This is sword intent. Lin Zaiasu walked leisurely onto the platform. Each time he swung the sword in his hand, it was like the fan in the palm of a gentleman from Jiangnan. One fan, two fans. Li Ren tears finally unlocked itself for the first time in his consciousness. His understanding of sword Dao deepened slowly. Saintess Kyan Ling watched quietly. Her eyes remained bright as stars. She had seen this misty rain Jiangnan many times, always finding it impressive. This time it was the most impressive. Because at this moment, the Jiangnan spring rain painting had dynamic movement. The wind was blowing, rain was flying, some discord melted away quietly, revealing the most perfect mood, and once the mood reached true perfection, his sword intent would stabilize. She had never seen anyone with such enlightenment. She had never seen anyone whose sword intent grew marked by a day or two. Yet here it wasn't a day or two, it's directly a minute or two. Chapter 545. Chapter 544. Sword intent at great success. In just 10 minutes, the misty rain Jiangnan created by this move, Li Ren tears had already reached a near-perfect state. Genius. An unprecedented genius. In terms of comprehension alone, he is simply at a heavenly pride level through the ages. Suddenly, the misty rain Jiangnan dazzled and transformed into the misty rain lotus pond, where a lotus blossom unfolded. Saintess Kyan Ling's eyes widened suddenly. The second lotus opened. In the blink of an eye, within the misty rain realm, 108 lotuses bloomed simultaneously. Saintess Kyan Ling couldn't believe her eyes. Was it completed? No. More than 100 lotuses withered all at once. Among them, one lotus gracefully floated up. As the 100 flowers wither, one flower flies. From now on, the road of separation never returns. Swoosh! This flower shot into the depths of Tashan Lake. Saintess Kyan Ling, with primordial spirit as eye, locked tightly onto this flower. This flower pierced straight through 10 meters of lake water, turning a stone on the lakebed into sand. And the lake surface remained calm and undisturbed. The willow forest created by Saintess Kyan Ling swayed gently and slowly returned to its original state. Lin Zaiasu raised his gaze and saw her eyes filled with incredulity. Whoosh! Saintess Kyan Ling exhaled. The sword intent has truly taken shape, entering into its own. I think so. If the sword intent reaches great success, this move, Li Ren tears, can be unleashed freely without the need for water flow, Saintess Kyan Ling said. In the future, when you battle strong enemies, you won't need typhoon weather, nor will you need Ding Ryushui by your side to prepare a large water sphere for you. Lin Zaiasu was overjoyed, really. He had just obtained the sword intent, and hadn't had the chance to test it. Hearing this once again brought him great joy. Li Ren tears is his weapon to counter ultimate strong enemies, proven multiple times, nearly invincible below the fourth realm. In the mortal world, where the fourth realm cannot be accessed, this move is almost unrivaled. However, Li Ren tears begins with true chi release of observing heaven. His path was blocked. He couldn't enter observing heaven in his lifetime, making this move an earthly swan song, only able to unleash with water as the medium. But now, according to Saintess Kyan Ling, if the sword intent reaches great success, there's no need for water as a medium. This major move of his can be unleashed at will. For him, it's liberation. Saintess Kyan Ling smiled. Li Ren tears essentially is true chi release. Without entering observing heaven, true chi cannot release. You borrowed water flow, creating a similar effect to true chi release, essentially a clever trick. The basic principle of sword intent is somewhat similar, but it's millions of times more advanced than using water as a medium. Theoretically, after your sword intent reaches great success, your Li Ren tears will be a notch above the old one. Better than the old Li Ren tears. Lin Zaiasu's heart stirred greatly. Being able to unleash a major move anytime, anywhere, and with an even stronger effect. He must train. In the following time, Lin Zaiasu behaved much like a scoundrel. neglecting Miao Rulan at the detective agency, neglecting little Yi at home, focusing wholeheartedly on accompanying the foreign girl in the log cabin by Tashin Lake, playing flute and zither during the day, ordering takeout. At night, old willow branches grew wildly, forming a willow forest secret realm outside the log cabin. In this secret realm, Lin Zaiasu practiced swordsmanship. His sword intent grew rapidly, at a speed that left Saintess Kaian Ling dumbfounded. On the first night, the sword intent took shape. On the second night, the sword intent reached small success. Starting from the third night, the sword intent gradually improved. Over half a month passed for this gradual process. 12th lunar month, 23rd. Late night. The fierce wind howled and snow fell heavily. This is the first snow of the year. Floating down gracefully, the world soon turned hazy and blurred. Lin Zaiasu by Tashin Lake raised his hand, and the five-element sword appeared. There seemed to be an illusory starlight on the tip of his sword. Swoosh! With one sword swing, the first move of Li Ren's swordsmanship, separation. In front of Tashin Lake, amidst the blizzard, a sharp, unparalleled sword shadow plunged into the lake, its depth unknown. The sword turned, like a mountain collapsing. Within a 10-meter radius underfoot, Tashin Lake suddenly became impervious to wind and rain. Boom! With a soft sound, the lake's surface within the 10-meter radius seemed to lower by a section, as if out of nowhere. The next moment, the lake surface suddenly turned into misty rain Jiangnan, with flowers blossoming and fading, one flower flying, and with a light sound, using that flower as the center, the entire storm of snow vanished completely. Lin Zaiasu stood upon the platform, with the long sword in his hand pointing diagonally at the sky. There was a beam of heavenly light. This beam of heavenly light was a breach he opened with Li Ren tears through the protective barrier of Saintess Kaian Ling's old willow. Creating a breach at her hand was also an indirect contest with her. Saintess Kaian Ling had already entered observing heaven. This observing heaven was at a heavenly pride level of the ancient great world. Lin Zaiasu was still in observing earth, but with his sword, he forcefully broke through Saintess Kaian Ling's protection. He succeeded. He validated his sword intent, stepping into great success. The sword intent of the great achievement realm liberated his Li Ren tears from the shackles of water as a medium. The sword intent of the great achievement realm also allowed separation and severing emotion to enter a new realm. The former severing of emotion, though unmatched in sharpness, was often ineffective against powerful enemies. This was because, aside from speed, it lacked strong penetration power, but from now on, that is no longer the case. This move has now merged with sword intent. This move is now unstoppable. This move also transcends the limitations of the sword itself. Within 5 zhang beyond the sword tip, it is all filled with the sharpness of sword intent. If encountered again with a Nirvana-level opponent like Divine Temple Shocking God, there would likely be no need for Li Ren tears, as severing of emotion could equally slice him in two. Battle power has never been so strong. But as he gazes into the cosmos, he is equally lost in confusion. The future of this world will face countless strong enemies. Even if the sword's light has been sharpened, can it contend with the enlightenment realm? In fact, it cannot. Where does the path ultimately lead? Great success, Saintess Kaian Ling sighed softly. You observe earth, I observe heaven, yet our combat abilities are on par with each other. This sigh was for her peerless heavenly pride self. In the ancient great world, she once challenged higher realm individuals and triumphed swiftly, being recognized as a heavenly pride. Yet in this end of Dharma era, the person before her, who is a realm lower, wielded the sword intent of great success and tore through her defenses. The wind swept by, snow flew vigorously. On Tashin Lake, the snow drifted into the water, vanishing without a trace. Sit down, said Saintess Kaian Ling. The two sat on the platform's lounge chairs. There was a roof above, the snow fell silently. Willow branches gently fluttered around. Snow fell on the platform and also in their hair. To comprehend sword intent before observing heaven, you could be considered a legend on the cultivation path, so why do you seem unhappy? Saintess Kaian Ling's voice came leisurely. Today is already the 23rd of the 12th lunar month. After the new year, the 3rd of March will soon arrive, said Lin Zaiasu. What's special about this day? The day of the equatorial shift, Lin Zaiasu said. I don't know what will happen. Will folded space open? Will the ancient wilderness break the realm? Saintess Kyan Ling asked. Both are possible. It is also possible that the heavenly Tao here may change, truly stepping into a world I do not understand. But no matter how difficult it is, you will fight, won't you? Yes. I will accompany you. These 3 words, spoken by Saintess Kyan Ling amidst the vast wind and snow, were so clean and bright. Lin Ziasu slowly turned sideways, and so did Saintess Kyan Ling. He looked at her and she looked at him. Actually, if the heavenly Tao changes, this world might become the world you are familiar with. As long as you have enough time, you could return to your former heights, Lin Ziasu said. Isn't that right? Yes. As long as the heavenly Tao changes, as long as the ancient energies return, I can return to my former heights within 10 years, Saintess Kyan Ling said. But I do not wish for that. Why not? Because you do not wish for it. Lin Ziasu gently extended his hand, lightly holding hers. The sky's white snow fluttered down, and the mortal world was silent at that time. The two lay quietly, the wind rose and snow flew by Tashan Lake. Saintess Kyan Ling gently closed her eyes, quietly savoring the tranquility of this moment in time. She did not know why she said those words. Perhaps because she saw his helplessness. But after saying those words, she had no regrets. Today we are already drenched in snow together. This life can be said to spend together until gray-haired. Lin Ziasu said softly, isn't it a bit romantic? Saintess Kyan Ling gently smiled. That's why I like Daxia. The poets of ancient Daxia were as flamboyant as you are. Lin Ziasu laughed. The next day, Lin Ziasu finally left the small wooden house at Tashan and returned to the detective agency. Announced something. The detective agency, continuing last year's tradition, is on holiday. Disbursing funds. The 18 million in the detective agency's account was allocated. 100,000 left as working capital, a 300,000 year-end bonus given to Zhou Zai, and the remaining amount split into 2 equal parts, over 8 million credited to each person's account. Miao Ruolan, just like last year, took Zhou Zai to the mall to prepare for the new year. Others take a holiday to reunite with family. Zhou Zai is not like others, she has no family. Last year, she regarded the detective agency as home for the new year. This year is no different. Miao Ruolan prepared the supplies for her for the new year, just as she had last year. Lin Ziasu tidied up the detective agency, unplugged the cords, and as he was about to go downstairs, suddenly, he received a message. The message was simple. I am admiring the snow by the Yishui River outside the detective agency. From Blue Demon. Lin Ziasu was stunned for a moment, immediately went downstairs, locked the detective agency door, crossed the road, and saw a beautiful silhouette by the Yishui River. In the wind and snow, her sky-blue hair fluttered, her face turned slightly, exuding endless charm. Senior sister, is something wrong? Lin Ziasu asked in a whisper, secretly transmitting his voice. Every time Blue Demon comes to Fengcheng, it always signifies an extraordinary major event. The phone is inconvenient for communication. Dragon Eye is inconvenient for communication, coming in person. However, Blue Demon smiled gently. No official business, purely personal. Lin Ziasu felt a sense of relief. What personal matter? Isn't today Little New Year on the lunar calendar? In the countryside, there is a tradition of inviting ancestors home for the celebration. Last year, Chang'e came to pay respects. This year she can't, so I'm doing it for her, Blue Demon said. Lin Ziasu was stunned. Not necessary, senior sister. It's just a mere formality. Little Yi could pay respects as well. Ancestors absolutely won't jump up. You deceitful person, deceiving heaven and earth, now even lying to your ancestors. It's only fitting that you have a turbulent fate. Blue Demon glanced at him sideways. Lin Ziasu was a little confused. If Little Yi paying respects is deceiving the ancestors, then what about you? You also have to take her appearance, right? Isn't that also deceit? That's double the deceit. I'm living, a real person. What is she? Just a robot, Blue Demon said. Just wait and see. If your ancestors don't overturn the table, it means they've accepted me. Chapter 546. Chapter 545. Blue Demon becomes Little Yi. Lin Ziasu was speechless. An ancestor flipping tables, ever since the emergence of materialism, has probably never happened in human history. A phone call was made. Little Yi told her mom, I'm going to pick up Little Sue. And she rode the Lin family's motorcycle over. Lin Zaiasu arranged for her to check into a hotel. Poor little Yi, once again passively giving up her place. If she had human emotions, she might feel very wronged. What's up? I'm just a mascot, right? Needed to occupy a place, not needed I stand aside. What do I lack compared to normal women? If there's water, why can't it be used? Of course, this is only hypothetical. In reality, she doesn't have human emotions. She doesn't know what feeling wronged is. She just smiles. Blue Demon changed into Little Yi's clothes, and when she came out of the room, she looked exactly like Little Yi. First time visiting your home, should I bring some gifts for your parents? Blue Demon asked. No need in everyone's eyes, you're already my wife of 1 or 2 years, Lin Zaiasu said. Got it, Blue Demon mounted the motorcycle. You just want me to act intimately and naturally with you. I can do that. First step, hold tight. Tightly hugged Lin Zaiasu. The little motorcycle sped into the heavy snow. The roadside began to get a bit slippery. But with Lin Zaiasu's superb driving skills, these things were naturally not issues. Soon, the little motorcycle entered Old Tashin village, and those old buddies who just returned from working outside looked at the couple in the snow with envy, jealousy, and hatred. These two have made young men in the village not want to go home. Every time they go home, their parents point to the Lin family courtyard to teach them. With a real-life example around, the pressure to marry is extraordinary. If Lin Zaiasu and his wife had any flaws, they could argue against it, but finding flaws in him was too difficult. Little Yi's gentleness and virtuousness are famous. That rascal Lin Zaiasu even knows how to make money. It's said he earns millions a year. Can anyone live with that? Of course, this is just hearsay. Theoretically, reported income differs greatly from real income, but even 20 or 30,000 is beyond their reach. However, no one knows. Lin Zaiasu's real income is indeed vastly different from the rumored figure, more than tenfold, just in the opposite direction. His actual income is in tens of millions. The villagers didn't put his income in 8 figures. The fundamental reason is that poverty limits imagination. Entering the Lin family courtyard, Dad and Mom came to greet them. Mom picked up a towel to brush off the snow from Blue Demon's body and complained to Lin Zaiasu. Little Sue, you're just being pretentious. Why don't you just take a cab from the county back? You insisted on Little Yi picking you up if you fell. See if I'll spare you. Blue Demon responded sweetly, Auntie, I'm perfectly fine. It's because you're fine. I let him go. Little Yi, come in. Today we've prepared your favorite dishes. Inside, warm and cozy. The table was set, offerings were placed. Lin Zaiasu and Blue Demon picked up the firecrackers and went to the courtyard, a lighted match. The crackers crackled. Blue Demon covered her ears and squeezed behind Lin Zaiasu. The old couple inside laughed heartily. Lin Zaiasu was also speechless. Sister, your acting is top-notch. You brave through a hail of bullets, but you're scared of firecrackers. After 3 rounds of drinks, it was time to kowtow. Dad kowtowed, Mom kowtowed, Lin Zaiasu kowtowed. Blue Demon voluntarily stepped forward and kowtowed. A family of 4, neat and orderly. Dad and Mom didn't notice at all that this daughter-in-law was replaced. The previous one was fake. Today's one is even more fake. At the table, Mom mentioned brother. Brother Lin Zioying couldn't come back this year. The troops needed someone on duty. He's also accumulated years of annual leave, saving it for next May Day as wedding leave. This is also quite good. Blue Demon quietly whispered into Lin Zaiasu's ear. She told him she had understood the situation over on Lin Zioying's side. On that day, 17 from Gongchun Mountain Outpost participated in the Southwest Border Defense Battle, in which 8 comrades died. The remaining 9 must visit the families of fallen comrades during this season, learn about their situation, and help resolve their worries. This is a tradition of Gongchun Mountain Outpost for years. So, Lin Zioying is not preparing for next year's wedding leave, but completing this tragic mission. He didn't tell his parents the truth, because he didn't want them to be involved and worried for him. Lin Zaiasu listened to these words, feeling a bit heavy. This is only one battle. This battle was certainly brutal, with more than 3,000 deaths, but compared to the upcoming catastrophe, it's just a small storm in a teapot. After dinner, Blue Demon suggested a walk in the small mountain village. Lin Zaiasu accompanied her, walking in the snowstorm, taking a deep breath. He felt the pressure on his mind quietly shifting. This world is so big with so many people, he's not fighting alone. What everyone can do, roughly speaking, is just being true to oneself. This small mountain village, quite charming, Blue Demon is quite interested in rural life. It's only because the year's end is approaching. During ordinary times, the workers aren't back. Many houses have locks on the doors. Little Sue. Suddenly, a voice called out. Lin Zaiyasu turned and saw a man coming from the snow. Village Chief Lei. Lin Zaiyasu smiled and said, "You're still going door to door even though it's the eve of the Chinese New Year." The man was Li Yujin, the village chief of Old Tashan Village. It's not just the eve of the new year. It's also snowing heavily today. Who feels like going out in this ghostly weather? It's all because of sister-in-law Deng from your hamlet. She's always at odds with her father-in-law. Yesterday she chased the old man out again. Tell me, how appropriate is that during New Year's? Village Chief Li said dismissively. If everyone was like your little Yi, then there wouldn't be such troubles. Blue Demon was a bit confused, but soon realized that she was the little Yi being praised by the village chief. She quickly nodded and stepped aside to let him pass. After the village chief left, a strand of voice slipped into Lin Zaiasu's ear. What's going on? Just some trivial rural family matters. Sister-in-law Deng dislikes her father-in-law since he's old. Actually, to be fair, her father-in-law is pretty good for someone in rural areas. He's a retired worker, getting 2,000 to 3,000 in wages monthly. If even he is disliked, imagine just a typical rural old man. Oh, how will the village chief handle this? Will he punish her according to village rules? Blue Demon was curious. She genuinely was unfamiliar with rural life. Village rules apply to those who follow them. For those who don't, they're just empty words. Let's say this village chief is like a cannonball, definitely not someone good at community work. I'm curious if they'll get into a fight later. The village chief entered sister-in-law Deng's yard. As soon as sister-in-law Deng saw the village chief, her face dropped. Village chief, don't try to persuade me. We must live separately from today onwards. I'm not his real child, nor did he raise me. Why should I serve him every day and not get any thanks? The village chief asked, do you raise pigs? Sister-in-law Deng frowned deeply, just one. How long have you been raising it? More than half a year. How much have you earned? Raising pigs, how much can you earn? After costs, maybe at most 500. Sister-in-law Deng said, Village chief, why are you asking this? The village chief said, your father-in-law's monthly salary is 3,100, right? He gives you all the money each month, right? Calculate for yourself, which is more profitable, raising him or raising pigs. Sister-in-law Deng was stunned. Inside the room, the old father-in-law was stunned too, his face turning red and white. Under the village chief's loud voice, several families were all stunned. The village chief said, I've calculated for you, raising your father-in-law is equivalent to raising 80 pigs. Sister-in-law Deng's eyes were full of astonishment, but it kind of made sense. I know what you dislike about him. He's old, dirty, hard to manage. But is pig raising dirty or not? Is it pigs managing the pigsty or you managing it? Treat him better, he lives another year, it's like raising 80 pigs a year. If he dies, your pig is gone. Got it. Sister-in-law Deng took a long, deep breath. Got it. Do you know what to do now? I know, I'll treat my father-in-law like a pig. That's right, the village chief laughed with his mouth wide open. It's New Year, what are you fussing about? I'm leaving. He turned smartly and left gracefully. Lin Zaiyasu and Blue Demon looked at each other. After turning a corner, they both laughed. Accidentally coming across a rural matter, Blue Demon felt touched. She used to be the Qianlong king, focusing only on big and urgent matters. She had never truly experienced these trivial rural family issues. This time, coming to Old Tashan village, she experienced things she had never experienced before. Her interest grew stronger, and she spent the whole afternoon wandering around with Lin Zaiyasu. When meeting the elderly, they nodded and greeted. But when meeting the young, they mostly avoided. Blue Demon noticed this and quietly transmitted, Hey, I noticed your popularity in the village isn't great. Your peers are avoiding you. Because of you. What does it have to do with me? Blue Demon was indignant. In their eyes, by wandering around with you, I'm arrogantly showing off, flaunting in front of these old bachelors that I found a good wife. Blue Demon's eyes rolled secretly. I'm not your wife. Today you are. The phrase today you are. Blue Demon's heart raced. Little Yi had already checked into the hotel. Tonight, she would replace Little Yi and stay with him. Was he implying he would do something to her tonight when he said, today she's his wife? Moreover, the thing that the village chief did just now also lingered in her mind, stirring different feelings. making her realize that sometimes it's not about the formality but practicality. Sometimes simple and direct works better. Her thoughts had been a bit wild recently. Maybe simple and direct is more effective. She, a Qianlong king after all, couldn't be less capable than a village chief, hesitant to do what she wanted. With an inexplicable excitement, Blue Demon welcomed Tashin's twilight. The snow fell heavier. The mountain was completely white. Night came early after dinner, straight to bed felt just right. In fact, in this little mountain village, many people were doing just that today. Especially those long-time migrant workers who finally returned home, seeing their wives. How could they not be eager? Even if the stove was cooking porridge, there were plenty of people who would first take their wives into the room. Chapter 547, Chapter 546, Blue Demon opens the creation gate. Lin Zaiyasu also had different thoughts. Especially when Blue Demon sat on the bed and took off her coat, her chest was definitely fuller than Little Yi's. Though it was unclear if this was her real body or a transformation, but, come on, aren't men all visual and tactile creatures? Blue Demon's eyes darted around, and when they landed on the large towel hanging by the bed, Lin Zaiasu's heartbeat quickened. Damn, that's where your focus is. Blue Demon's eyes twinkled. Is this bed where you and Little Yi sleep? I really need to explain this, Lin Zaiyasu said. She sleeps, I meditate and practice on the floor. Blue Demon pursed her lips. I was just casually asking, I'm not bothered about it. You casually asked, I have to be honest. This is the closest I've ever been to being like Liu Ziahui in my life. It's my proudest achievement, even if you didn't ask, I'd have to clarify. Blue Demon looked at him, her gaze clearly spelling out a 6-word meme. Do you think I believe you? She really wanted to ask him, so what's the towel for? You use it to wipe off your sweat after practicing. Senior sister, you rest first. I'll practice, just like usual. Lin Zaiyasu sat cross-legged and began to practice. Blue Demon lay on the bed, her thoughts tumbling over and over. She really didn't mean to accuse him. She just wanted to tease him. But as she teased, he went to sit on the floor. How can she get him to come up and sleep? She seemed to have to admit, in this area, she was a complete novice and really didn't know how to handle such things. Time ticked by. The night grew deeper. But Blue Demon lay in the darkness, her eyes wide open. Little rascal, you're really not coming. You know how rare this opportunity is. Suddenly, Lin Zaiyasu shifted, standing up. Blue Demon quickly closed her eyes, pretending to sleep. Sensing keenly, he reached the bedside. Blue Demon's heart raced. Finally, he came. I knew you wouldn't pass up such a good opportunity. I can't move. I can't openly undermine Chang Yi. Meeting him like this was all about protecting Chang Yi. Secretly getting in was a bit shameful. Push it on him, he would do it. I'm asleep, and when I wake up, he'd already done it. However, Lin Zaiyasu didn't follow her script, sitting at the bedside and gently calling out, Senior sister. Blue Demon was really annoyed. Why call out? Just get straight to it. Senior sister, I want to try something with you. Blue Demon didn't open her eyes, her breath very even, but inside a warm current surged around. Try something. Why don't you just come straight at it, waking me up? I'd really be in an awkward spot. Senior sister, Lin Zaiyasu gently shook her shoulder. This time Blue Demon couldn't pretend to sleep anymore. Letting out an inward sigh, her eyes slowly opened. What? Do you remember I once told you something? Lin Zaiyasu said. I said you, senior sister, might be able to upgrade further. Blue Demon sat up. The pretending to be drowsy act was thoroughly dispelled. All the aimless and scattered thoughts in her head suddenly vanished without a trace. That was back on the path chasing Gushi. She had sighed. As the battle progresses, I am beginning to feel my capabilities are insufficient. Maybe one day I won't be able to stay by your side. Lin Zaiyasu comforted her. Have you considered that your combat abilities could also be upgraded? That response she took as mere consolation at the time because she was a genetic person. Genetic people are at their peak when they start out. They can't upgrade further. However, later on the southern country's frontier, she discussed a lot with Miao Yin Heavenly King. Miao Yin Heavenly King teased repeatedly. Evidence shows that sleeping with him can enhance combat skills like Chang Yi, like Miao Ruolan, like Ding Ruoshui, under increasingly high-end combat requirements. Aren't you, Blue Demon, feeling insufficient in combat power? Why don't you try sleeping with him? That was just a joke, just flirtation. Blue Demon didn't take it seriously. However, in the subsequent battles, someone no one expected appeared, Yixiang. Yixiang could actually manipulate space. This completely broke genetic conventions. From that moment, Miao Yin Heavenly King's flirtations began to have some parts that inspired yearning. Could it be that sleeping with him really brings miracles? Tonight, lying in his bed, with a towel hanging by the headboard meant for patting the butt, he directly brought up this topic that Blue Demon cared about most and was most sensitive to: upgrading. Is there really a way to upgrade? Blue Demon's voice trembled a bit. Haven't tried, but theoretically it's possible, Lin Zaiasu said. If you, senior sister, do not object, I'd like to try on you. How to try? Blue Demon's runaway whimsical thoughts came back again. There's a very special place in the human body called the Gate of Creation. As long as you find the Gate of Creation, you can dissolve the genetic remnants in your body. This Gate of Creation's ultimate function is to remove impurities and refine essence, detoxify and benefit. Where is the Gate of Creation? It's different for everyone, needs to be found slowly. Blue Demon's face flushed instantly. Her heart beat once again, became utterly chaotic. You little rascal, you're really something, clearly wanting to do that thing. Yet you seriously concoct a story about a Gate of Creation with no specific location, needs a full-body search. The process of searching, isn't that just your process of teasing? Come, Blue Demon spat out a single word. Falling asleep while you play allows me to avoid an embarrassing situation. However, this method also may not convince people. How could a king be so clueless? It's unscientific. Still, Lin Zaios's method is more clever, creating a tale about a Gate of Creation. Justifying every touch and action. I can really use this as an excuse. No one can say Blue Demon is shameless. Her eyes closed. Lin Zaiasu placed a finger on her forehead. Blue Demon's body trembled slightly. Don't think that the finger is on her forehead now. The next step, it would surely be on the treasure's tip. Should she raise that area a bit to make it feel better for him? But after waiting for a long time, Lin Zaiasu's finger didn't move. What's going on? Am I not being clear enough? Are you afraid to make a move? Come on, it's already very clear. Be bold, pull down the pants. Suddenly, Lin Zaiasu's voice came to her ear. Senior sister, use transformation technique. That's going too far. Blue Demon bit her lip. Am I not enough to stir your passion? Do I need to become another woman? What are you thinking, senior sister? Lin Zaiasu said. The Gate of Creation is hidden in the human body. I need you to use your superpower so I can sense the change in the energy flow. Blue Demon opened her eyes. Senior sister, don't get the wrong idea. I am really doing serious work. All right, serious work. Blue Demon exhaled a fragrant breath. Tell me, whose appearance do you need? Cheng Yi, Yixiang, Miao Ruolan, Ding Ruoshui, or that age-old beauty? Let's go through them one by one. Going through them one by one, junior brother, you play quite the game. Blue Demon's face changed, turning into Cheng Yi, gazing at him tenderly. Lin Zaiasu closed his eyes, sensing a bit of mystery. As she used her transformation technique, he captured a general area. This place was closely related to her transformation technique. It could be considered the origin of her genes. Is it? Blue Demon transformed into Ding Ruoshui. This transformation again gave Lin Zaiasu a mysterious feeling. Lin Zaiasu became almost certain. Yes, it was at the junction of the two meridians in her body. For the third transformation, Blue Demon really became Catherine. This transformation probably involved substantial effort in her transformation technique. Because after all, they were different races. Lin Zaiasu felt a strong gene fluctuation, perfectly locked in. It was right there, at the junction of the two meridians. His heavenly Tao primordial spirit locked onto it, and true Qi followed. Blue Demon initiated the fourth transformation. In this transformation, that place seemed to have a ripple spreading out. Lin Zaiasu thrust true Qi towards the center of this ripple. Blue Demon let out a soft cry. It seemed to hurt a little, yet also seemed infinitely delightful. This soft cry reached Lin Zaiasu, causing chaotic thoughts in his heart. So similar. It was almost identical to when Yixiang and Ruolan did that for the first time. A little painful, yet filled with joy. How is it? Did it succeed? Blue Demon on the bed arched her waist, lips slightly parted. Breathed in and didn't exhale for a long time. Finally she exhaled, bouncing up. Little Sue, I feel. How is it? Lin Zaiasu asked eagerly. This was the first thrust the Gate of Creation faced to the genetic people. This was the most anticipated thrust in this world. Could it truly become a milestone in the genetic revolution? I feel the gene rejection toxins in me were removed all at once. Really, my whole body feels clear. Blue Demon's face was crimson. Could it be that you really opened a gate of creation? Can you sense this gate? Lin Zaiasu asked. Just a general location here. Blue Demon pointed at her waist. A bit off, Lin Zaiasu spread a thread of true chi at that location. It should be here. He marked it accurately for her. It's almost there. Almost isn't good enough. A tiny misalignment can mean a huge error, Lin Zaiasu said. How about we go a step further? How to go further? Lin Zaiasu said. I leave something inside this gate, then you can precisely feel its presence and define the location clearly. Leave something inside me. Blue Demon's thoughts went astray again. Yes, this thing can also serve as a verification, to see if you can still accommodate foreign genes. Blue Demon was startled. Putting something inside her, not that drop of you-know-what, but foreign genes, do you want to kill me? Everyone knows genetic transformation cannot be messed with. Once genes are fixed, adding foreign genes is seeking death. Senior sister, theoretically, once the gate of creation opens, any gene entering the body would be transformed into pure energy. However, theory is still just theory. I'm not certain what might happen. How about we stop here for today? Lin Zaiasu hesitated a bit. No, said Blue Demon, let's try. What if? No what ifs. The third day of March is just around the corner. If I remain at my current level, I won't be able to keep up with you and I might become cannon fodder in the next round. Let's try. Even if we fail, it's no big deal. Lin Zaiasu raised his hand, placing a finger on her waist. This finger was like opening a space tunnel. He saw the situation inside the gate of creation. With a maneuver of the space law, a crimson bead from his secret realm space was drawn into her gate of creation. This bead, the red scale yuan crystal. To her it was undoubtedly a foreign gene, and unquestionably foreign. Simply because in this world, there were no crimson scales yet. No matter what gene she originally had implanted, it could not be the crimson scale. Chapter 548, Chapter 547, Transformation Technique Leveled Up, Simply Unbelievable. The reason for implanting the red scale yuan crystal is very simple. The crimson scale has lived in the magma zone for years, and its primordial crystal has the fire attribute, which can transform into searing energy and enter her body at any time. This clearly perceptible line is the distinct mark of her gate of creation. She can feel her own gate of creation. This is the first reason. Secondly, Blue Demon's physique is actually cold-leaning, and this crimson scale just happens to neutralize her chill, making her more comfortable. The idea is beautiful, but reality is untested. As soon as the yuan crystal was transported, Lin Zaiasu used the heavenly Tao primordial spirit as an eye to capture, and finally control the entire process. He needed to ensure that if something went wrong, he could promptly remove the bead. Terminate this dangerous process. Although Blue Demon spoke heroically, daring to experiment to avoid becoming cannon fodder in the future. How could Lin Zaiasu really disregard her life? The theory is 100% sound. His judgment has a 90% chance of success. The remaining 10% depends on situational decisions, using space law to halt at any time. Once the yuan crystal entered the gate of creation, something extraordinary happened. The yuan crystal spun in the void, as if creating a new world. Strands of red energy entered her bloodstream through this portal, and within her blood, some black shadows melted away like snow in sunlight. Lin Zaiasu's heartbeat accelerated. These black shadow substances are actually the residual toxins of genetic remnants. When the gate of creation opened, it cleared out a large portion, though a small part stubbornly remained in the bloodstream. Now the purification process officially began. A good phenomenon, better than expected. From the current situation, there's no adverse reaction, and what the primordial spirit sees only brings surprise. Suddenly, Blue Demon kicked, tossing aside the blanket, so hot. As the blanket was kicked away, Lin Zaiasu's eyes widened instantly, and his mind almost wandered. Did she just take off her outer clothes? Only a two-piece left. This luxury, this pale tenderness. He quickly closed his eyes. So comfortable, especially comfortable, Blue Demon said. The tail end of her sentence dragged a bit long, making Lin Zaiasu's heart ripple again. How could this happen? Blue Demon suddenly exclaimed. Lin Zayasu's eyes shot open. He was shocked to see Blue Demon change. Her body suddenly shrank. Really shrank. Earlier, her height was approximately 1 meter 60-something. Now, she was only about 1 meter 34. Her bra was loose. Her panties were also loose. Oh my God. In the next moment, her body returned to its original state. Then the next moment, her body suddenly enlarged. 1 meter 8, 1 meter 9, 2 meters. With a light sound, the small panties popped open. The bra snapped. Blue Demon's eyes flew open. She waved a hand to cover herself with the blanket, her face flushed red. Both were dumbfounded. Senior sister, you seem able to change size, Lin Zaiasu said. Blue Demon took a deep breath. Yes, my transformation technique has upgraded. Her transformation technique could previously only change form, not size except for the chest, but now she could directly change her height. This change makes the transformation technique truly incredible. Not only the transformation technique. She felt that as her body enlarged, her strength also increased accordingly. And as her body shrank, her agility significantly increased. If nothing goes wrong, her combat power will simultaneously strengthen. She achieved the most incredible progress of the genetic people, breaking the iron rule of debut equals peak for genetic people. This breakthrough has a specialized term, nirvana. In other words, she also became a nirvana. If she could achieve nirvana, what about others? The gate of creation, she initially thought was an excuse for this mischievous junior apprentice to touch her all over, now really achieved the effect of nirvana. The subsequent impacts are enormous and explosive. The greatest problem troubling the genetic realm, is it likely to be resolved? If it truly can be, the success rate of genetic transformation surgery will leap from below 30% to nearly 100%. Genetically transformed individuals who have already succeeded can avoid the long-standing torment of genetic rejection. The genetic revolution is thus rewritten. Blue Demon grew increasingly excited. She sprang up. Little Sue, I have a crazy idea, Blue Demon said. If we use this method to transform Qianlong's 10,000 elites and all 10,000 become nirvana, what fear do we have of the impending March 3rd? Lin Zayasu's heart raced wildly. Among the 100,000 elite of Qianlong, 99% are genetic people. If the transformation is as successful as hers, they can truly be called nirvana. Nirvana is a mysterious term, and as long as genetic people take one more step, they can be considered nirvana. Calling them nirvana has no issues. In the past genetic world, a nirvana was a legend. But as long as the gate of creation is open, almost every genetic person can be called a nirvana. 100,000 elite army of nirvana. Could it really be the strongest resistance force when the strange realm invades? The opening of this creation gate, could it truly be a clever move under the vast dark clouds? Is this the way to a bright future when all seems lost? However, Lin Zaiasu deeply understood the difficulty of this matter. So far, he has opened the gate of creation 3 times. His own was the easiest. He had naturally opened it early on, probably while he was practicing the rejuvenation secret technique, pursuing perfection. Possibly it was the heavenly Tao primordial spirit that opened it for him, whether naturally or through the mystical intervention of heavenly Tao. This kind of opening on himself is not replicable, because it's irreproducible. Yixiang, because of the Gu technique she had, with its energy emitted, could easily open this gate. Her path is also irreproducible. Blue Demon's case is the most instructive. Theoretically, if her creation gate can be opened, then so can the others. However, to open her creation gate, he exerted Herculean efforts, researching thoroughly overnight without even the time to explore the alluring scenery on her. If he were to face 100,000 genetic people and open each one individually, the workload would be too large, hardly opening a few before the 3rd of March. Opening the gate of creation is indeed a bit difficult, relying on my strength alone. Lin Zaiasu gently shook his head. A strengthened platoon might be possible, but 10,000 elite is just wishful thinking. Blue Demon said, of course, it's impossible alone. However, the essence of science is finding patterns. I will immediately return to Qianlong headquarters and be the test subject to discover the patterns in biology and find a stable and reliable operational method, so it can be widely applied. Lin Zaiasu's eyes brightened. Now is modern society. The spirit of science is to find patterns. The creation gate must have a human body pattern roadmap, and as long as we find this roadmap, use modern equipment for detection, and precisely match, it's possible to quickly find anyone's creation gate location. Today, he is only a trailblazer. He doesn't need to personally usher 100,000 elite into the Nirvana gate. This is the advantage of modern society. Are you leaving overnight? Yes, I brought the winged blade with me, Blue Demon said. In a few minutes, I can be face to face with Old Man. The 3rd of March is just around the corner, and countless comrades are facing genetic rejection at the moment. Time waits for no one. Can I borrow Little Ye's underwear to wear? The beginning of the statement was righteous and full of vigor. However, the last sentence twisted Lin Ziyasu's thoughts directly. Unprompted, the scene from earlier appeared in his mind. Her underwear snapped, though her reaction was unbelievably swift, quickly lifting a blanket to cover her exposure. Theoretically, in this unlit night, there should have been no exposure. But Lin Ziyasu's eyes are sharp, clearly seeing every strand of hair, the edge of that pink slit, and even a few drops of water. Better not to imagine this. Lin Ziyasu took a deep breath, opened the bedside cabinet. Inside were Little Ye's underwear. Little Ye always changes her underwear in front of him, so he naturally knows where the underwear is. Blue Demon changed into the underwear in bed with rustling sounds. During the changing process, she hesitated a bit, considering if she should take this opportunity to do that thing. Looking at his eyes, he seemed to want it. However, with such tremendous gains, the strange sense spreading within her body, she was worried if they did it, and he caused intense stimulation. If the wonderful sensation from the creation gate disappeared, what then? This is the most important matter. In the face of serious issues, there should be no personal relationship entanglements. After accomplishing this, then she could be with him peacefully. Junior brother, don't rush. Next time we meet, sis will give you everything, let you play to your heart's content. Blue Demon put on the clothes and left the room. Outside, the wind and snow were heavy. As she rose, she merged into the night sky, and silently, a winged blade appeared under her feet out of thin air. In the next moment, the winged blade soared through the air, rising straight into the sky. This winged blade was also given by Lin Ziyasu to her. It is now her personal exclusive puppet. Given Blue Demon's nature, she wasn't used to keeping such a world-class treasure for herself, but there's no choice, as Lin Ziyasu set the winged blade to only listen to her. Even if she wanted to hand it over, no one else could use it. Moreover, another winged blade of Qianlong has been activated under Ding Dong's command. Its functions are the same as this winged blade, and that one is for public use. Watching her disappear like this in the wind and snow, Lin Ziyasu's inner turmoil slowly dissipated in the rooftop's cold wind. At dawn the next day, before the sky was light, Lin Ziyasu left the room, starting on the rooftop, stepping through the snow, crossing Tashan, and went into the county. The hotel doors opened just as he arrived. He entered the hotel, lightly knocked, and Little Yi opened the door, smiling at him gently. Little Yi, let's go home. Okay, Little Yi responded sweetly. Last night I didn't do anything with her. Lin Ziyasu patted her shoulder. Okay, I'll record this in the database, so when Chang Yi checks, this will be the conclusion, Little Yi said. Lin Ziyasu was dumbfounded. Chang Yi will check. Yes, she can share my data, check in real time or inquire. Can you delete what happened last night? I can't, I don't have the permission to delete. All right then, anyway. Anyway, nothing happened, Lin Ziyasu said. Let's go buy some holiday supplies. The two bought a bunch of holiday supplies, hailed a ride, and returned to Old Tashan village. Dad and Mom were a bit puzzled. You two went to the county early in the morning to buy holiday supplies. Yes, Lin Ziyasu saw Little Yi's lips twitch and quickly answered ahead. Afraid she would let it slip, this robot can't lie. If she told Dad and Mom that yesterday she slept in the hotel and Lin Ziyasu found another woman to bring home, this year might start with family chaos from Mama's disciplinary stick. Luckily, Little Yi is a robot. Her programming doesn't include jealousy. Spring Festival thus continued in harmony. Chapter 549, Chapter 548, Qianlong Headquarters Qingshan Project. However, at Qianlong Headquarters, Miaoyin Heavenly King's heart was as tumultuous as a summer storm. Her cheeks were red as fire, and her eyes shone like stars as she stared at the dust-covered blue demon who appeared in front of her. Her voice lost its usual composure. You, are you saying? You've opened the gate of creation, your genetic rejection has completely disappeared, and You've achieved nirvana. Watch, Blue Demon slowly extended her hand. This hand was normal at first, quickly shrank, then grew larger, writing down the miraculous genetic creation in front of Miao Yin. Miao Yin Heavenly King stared at this hand, taking a deep breath. Is this the result of you sleeping with him? What are you thinking? We didn't sleep together. Blue Demon shot her a glance. He was exploring your body for half the night, searching high and low for your gate of creation, but in the end, he didn't. What? Blue Demon's face turned red. Can you not focus so much on that stupid detail? Can't you see how important this is? I can see. Let's go find the old man right now, Miao Yin said. We'll immediately get you on the operating table for dissection and study. Don't worry, I'll be the project leader this time, and besides Lin Zios, I won't allow any man to explore your body. Good sister, you're such a good sister. How can you know exactly what I want? Let's go. The two heavenly kings departed together. Upon hearing this news, even Chief Long, who had weathered countless storms, was completely shocked, immediately launching a top-secret project. Miao Yin Heavenly King and Blue Demon jointly took charge of this project. This project was named the Skylifting Project. The Skylifting Project, to lift the sky. The meaning of standing against the heavens. The Great Qianlong Project was urgently launched during this New Year's period. Needless to say, the entire world was unaware. Even at Qianlong headquarters, only 7 or 8 people knew, and each of them was so excited. Because if this project succeeded, all 100,000 elite of Qianlong could potentially become nirvana. Even when faced with the might of the heavens, I still have a skylifting sword. Time rapidly approached New Year's Eve amidst the busy preparations. In the blink of an eye, it was New Year's Eve. At Wushan Mountain, the elementary school was already on holiday. The ancient mountain village, like other villages, also welcomed its annual returning home wave. The small village's inn only had 1.5 guests, who Dai counted as one. Little Moon shyly bullied your young, counted as half. The inn was actually out of service. The inn owner and his wife, along with their son and daughter-in-law who had just returned from afar for the new year, joined to celebrate, bringing Hu Dai and Little Moon to share this New Year's Eve dinner. Midway through the meal, the inn owner's wife asked Hu Dai a question. Teacher Hu, are you going back to your hometown this year? At these words, Hu Dai fell silent. Going back home or not? She truly wanted to return, but she was waiting for a piece of news. This news hadn't come, and she didn't know how to tell her mother. Brother, just what step are you on your journey? With these thoughts, she returned to the top floor. Suddenly, she stopped at the entrance to the floor. Her gaze was drawn to the coffee table in front. On the coffee table beside the teapot, a small horse quietly leaned. This small horse was the one she had folded back then. Hu Dai's heart rippled like the waters of the 3 rivers. A voice called from the darkness, Sister. With that word, Hu Dai suddenly turned her head. In the darkness, a shadow slowly emerged, silent. Gushi, he had come. On this New Year's Eve, he had finally come to his sister's side. His arm having been repaired in the just past 4th nirvana, his face no longer bore years of malice and murder, replaced by a melange of emotions from a wanderer in a strange realm seeing family. Hu Dai's tears flowed like water from a burst dam, pouring down as her hand lightly reached out to touch that face in the cold wind, the familiar silhouette in her memory, gradually returning in front of her. Brother, the 2 words were as light as a sigh. Sister, Gushi opened his arms and hugged her tightly. The brother and sister embraced for a long time on this strange land rooftop, in the cold wind, on this New Year's Eve night. You've finally returned. I've prayed to the heavens, to all the gods and Buddhas in the sky for a full 13 years, brother, you've finally returned, Hu Dai cried. Tears Gushi had never shed silently seeped from his eyes. Sister, I actually came to see you 2 months ago, but at that time I didn't dare to meet you. And now, why do you dare now? Hu Dai trembled as she spoke. Because together with Lin Ziasu, I destroyed the 9-headed snake headquarters, and because I fought for the nation in the southwest border city, I lost an arm. That was the arm of my evil deeds. Losing this arm, I gained a new life. Hu Dai's hand gently stroked the arm. Is this the one from your nirvana rebirth? Yes, I have been through nirvana 4 times now. The first 3 were just physical and bloodline rebirths, but this time it's a rebirth of the spirit. I'm back, and I'm back as a combat hero. Hu Dai's smile was accompanied by tears. Tomorrow, you, me, and Little Moon We will go back to our old home in West River and tell Mom the news she has been waiting for 13 years. Almost simultaneously, on the side of East Lake in Jiangcheng, a villa also saw a dusty traveler return. This person was none other than the once declared dead Jiangcheng's first detective, He Jiang. He Jiang stood in the dark of the villa, watching the lights go out one by one inside, his heart filled with mixed emotions. Many times at night returning home, whenever he saw the light on the top floor of the villa, he could always feel his wife's concern. Tonight that light wasn't on, just because in his wife's heart he was already dead. And yet, on this New Year's Eve night, on this reunion night when families gather together, he had to tell his wife that he had returned. With his body moving in unison, he climbed to the rooftop. The next moment, he appeared in the corridor where the light used to be on, gently knocking on the corridor door. The wife inside was startled, stretched out her hand and touched the dagger under the pillow. Who is it? After her husband's accident, she vaguely knew the crimes her husband had committed were severe. Therefore, she had been reclusive for more than a year, going out only when necessary. Although no one came to trouble her, and none of the bad things she anticipated happened, she was still worried. From that time on, she developed the habit of keeping a dagger under the pillow. Tonight, someone was actually knocking on the balcony door. This balcony was on the 4th floor. Under normal circumstances, who could go up there? "Hunger, it's me." The 4 words from outside made her hand tremble, and her face turned pale. Her husband had come back. He had avoided the Qianlong pursuit that day, fled overseas, and today he returned. "You must leave quickly. Don't implicate Kinger, let him complete his studies normally." The wife came to the door, leaning against it with her back, her voice very light but firm. "Hunger, I'm okay now, really. How could it be possible, you?" Before I fled abroad, Lin Ziasu had already found me, and together we devised a plan. I infiltrated the upper echelons of Utopia, just now coordinated with Qianlong to take down the Utopia headquarters. All my crimes were pardoned, and I even received the Qianlong 2nd level medal. With a swish, the door opened. The wife's face flushed as red as blood in the cold wind, and she trembled all over. "Are you telling the truth?" "Look," He Jiang raised his hand, a medal held in his palm. The medal had a golden dragon on the front and 2 words on the back, 2nd level. A 2nd level medal, almost equivalent to heroic medal. The wife held onto the medal, tears streaming like rain. He Jiang gently caressed his wife's shoulder. "Lin Ziasu, though in my heart is still a bastard, I must admit, he changed my fate trajectory, and the fate before me is what I want. This spring festival, you and I, together with our Kinger, will go visit him for the new year." The wife slowly lifted her head. "Let's skip visiting for New Year for me to visit him. At most, I'll withdraw the curse I originally made and let heaven know that if he has a son in the future, he can fart for a long time," He Jiang said hatefully. In the same Jiangcheng, in another lakeside villa, Mrs. Ding and Ding Ryushui had a mother-daughter conversation. "Didn't you ask when Ziasu would come over?" "Mom, do you want to experience your son-in-law bringing big and small bags for the mother-in-law during New Year?" Ding Ryushui retorted. Mrs. Ding extended her hand, intending to give her a flick on the forehead but decided against it considering the good progress between her and her son-in-law, and she behaved well. Instead, she gave her a sideways glance. "Am I expecting gifts from him? Am I such a shallow mother-in-law?" "He also said you're different from his other mothers-in-law." "Oh no, different from all mothers-in-law around the world," Ding Ryushui said. "You're the most open-minded, you're also the richest, you don't even know how to spend your money. Oh, Mom, deposit another tens of millions into my account. I'm going out to play with him during the spring festival." Mrs. Ding immediately became alert, "Trying to swindle your mom's pocket money again." "How could it be? We have already agreed, on the 8th day of the 1st lunar month, I'm leaving with him. You don't want your daughter to suffer from exposure and hunger, right?" "Really?" "Absolutely true." "Where to?" "Northwest, the time might be long." "Longer is better, the longer the better." Mrs. Ding was delighted. "I'll transfer $1 million to you, more is really unnecessary." Ding Ryushui was so happy she jumped. $1 million smoothly arrived in her account. Mrs. Ding looked at her little expression and sighed deeply. "What do I have? Others have sons and daughters, and they're all at the age of branching out and spreading. The spring festival is very lively for them, but my family. The son-in-law doesn't come over, the daughter plays the generous role, and that rogue son has run away again, not even coming back for the New Year's Eve dinner." Mom, think about it this way. After all, your rogue son causes trouble for many girls at home, but following a white-haired woman out only causes trouble for one person. There is some progress. And your son-in-law, didn't you always say he's someone doing great things? People doing great things have no time to play the drama of dutiful son-in-law or virtuous mother-in-law, and your daughter is still by your side. Otherwise, you can give me the New Year's money you plan to give to brother and Zayasu. The topic turned several times and ended up on money again. Mrs. Ding glared at her fiercely. If you love money so much, why don't you give me a grandson early? If you dare to have one, I'll dare to give 100 million for each grandson. Do you dare? Deal. Ding Rushui raised her hand, clapping. Chapter 550. Chapter 549. The high-speed rail to spring starts again. Ding Lijiang stepped into the mother-daughter conversation, suddenly overhearing it. His foot paused mid-lift, then he slapped his own forehead, turned, and went into the study. These mother and daughter, they're beyond saving. One dares to bring it up, the other dares to agree. Where does this leave propriety? Daughter, you're not even married yet. Old Tashin, the heavy snow that fell just before the new year still hasn't melted after 4 or 5 days. Lin Ziasu stood on the roof of the second floor, looking at the distant vegetable garden and the firecracker remnants in each family's yard. He inhaled the smell of gunpowder in the air, savoring the unique aroma of a rural new year. Every new year is a mark. In life, perhaps it's these marks that string together one after another. The sound of firecrackers marks the passage of a year. The spring winds bring warmth to the home, and each household's bright sun heralds the exchange of new peaches for old charms. The new peaches have already replaced the old charms. What will next year's New Year's Eve look like? Where will the tranquility and harmony of this world, the happiness and anticipation of ordinary people, be set in stone? Little Yi went upstairs, carrying a coat, which she gently draped over his shoulders from behind. Lin Ziasu turned slightly, giving her a smile. Are Mom and Dad staying up? Yes, the fire is burning bright. They asked if you'd like some midnight snacks. What about you? Do you want some? I'm not hungry. During the spring festival, no one's hungry. It's all about the gesture. Come on, let's ask my mom to cook some noodles. The spring festival rolls on familiarly. Lively and bustling, it reached the 7th day of the Lunar New Year. In the afternoon of the 7th day, Miao Ruoleng called, informing him that the detective agency would open on the 8th, so she was coming over that night. This wasn't an alert for him to go to work. Rather, it was to tell him she would be at the detective agency tonight. Lin Ziasu understood her meaning, said a word to his mom and dad as the sun set, and then headed to the county town. Entering the detective agency's doors, Miao Ruoleng's cheeks were blushing. Happy New Year. Lin Ziasu hugged her waist and gave a little nibble, making Miao Ruoleng go soft. Zier went to Li Fang's place. You know what? Such employees deserve awards, Lin Ziasu said. Miao Ruoleng giggled. You awarded her millions for the whole year last year. She herself said she's collected a lifetime of bonuses and would wholeheartedly endure hard days with us in the future. Hard days? Yes, Miao Ruoleng said. We all have psychological expectations. Last year you took down 9-headed snake in Utopia. Your money jar is essentially smashed. It's unlikely you'll make tens of millions a year from now on. But it's okay, you've earned a lifetime's worth. You could retire right now. Lin Ziasu laughed. Calling 9-headed snake in Utopia my money jars is pretty aggravating, but it seems to be the truth. Exactly, Miao Ruoleng snuggled happily in his arms. But saying that with 9-headed snake in Utopia gone, my money jars are smashed, isn't entirely accurate either, Lin Ziasu said. Maybe there's an even bigger money jar this year. Miao Ruoleng jolted out of his embrace. For instance, if a visitor from the strange realm arrives, maybe one day Qianlong will set up a new reward standard for me. Like, how much for taking down an Enlightenment realm level? Miao Ruoleng's lips parted, not quite knowing what expression to wear. Enlightenment realm she knew. She knew through Lin Ziasu. She knew what kind of existence the Enlightenment realm was. It was a super cultivation, beyond allowance in the current world. How powerful, to the extent that the current world structure can't support it, and the heavenly Tao has to intervene for control. Such people, oh no. Such gods, are they suitable for releasing reward standards? She felt her mind wasn't suited for such topics, better to free her psyche and play joyfully with him. This spring festival, she spent comfortably as the biggest worry of ordinary families, money, lost its restrictive nature upon her, thereby allowing familial love to become pure. Though joyful and comfortable at home, with her cheerful dad and mom, brother and sister-in-law all around, she missed him. Especially when nothing needed to be done, she missed him even more. In such a mood on the evening of the seventh day, Meow Rulan felt a bit wild, particularly when the street's firecrackers resounded. She too could indulge in moaning without worry of others hearing. No matter how sweet the night, it will always pass. No matter how lively the spring festival, it will also pass. The next day is the official workday. As the gates of various units open, half of the New Year's spirit instantly fades away. Meow Rulan, albeit sluggish, maintained her professional integrity, got out of bed early, bathed, changed, went downstairs, and the sound of the door opening outside announced that Joe Zai was back. Sister Lan, has Brother Lin arrived? Meow Rulan endeavored not to let her face change color, gently nodding. He seems to have arrived. Seems. Yes, I was asleep last night when I heard the door opening. He should have come. Meow Rulan said. Since we've opened, let's sort out last year's cases first, okay? There are several cases. Now that the parties are back for the new year, we can visit them too. Josai successfully veered her thoughts, found last year's case files, and began organizing. Sudden, her gaze lifted, shocked at the sight outside the door. Meow Rulan's gaze also lifted. Through the glass door, she saw a small blue car, its design strikingly unique, not available on the market. Sister Lan, do you remember the high-speed train to Spring? Josai's voice was light, her expression very mysterious. Meow Rulan's eyes flickered, but she didn't answer. You don't remember? Miss Ding from the Changsheng group, who was once the daughter of the third largest shareholder, is now even more remarkable. She's the daughter of the chairman. Of course I remember. Should we go say hi to her? It's the festive season. Meow Rulan hesitated. Brother Lin's coming down. Josai looked up. The stairs creaked, and Lin Zaiasu descended briskly. Rulan Zier, I'm going out with Ryushui to handle some things. It might take some time. All right, Meow Rulan replied. Brother Lin is at the high-speed train to Spring, Josai asked. Lin Zaiasu shot her a look, pushed open the detective agency's door, and opened the car door in front of him. Inside, of course, was Ding Ryushui. I said we'd meet separately at the Huangang high-speed railway station, yet you still insist on picking me up. Lin Zaiasu smiled and said, Missed me. What do you mean missed you? I'm here to catch some shady business. Ding Ryushui said. I won't ask about Meow Rulan, but you should come clean about Josai. Did you have anything going on? Honestly, I did not. I can't tell right now. Ding Ryushui tilted her head to look inside at Josai. But once I return to Kun Kang, enter Nishui Pond and the heavenly star shines, I'll be able to tell if a woman is pure. Whoa, such an incredible skill. Yes, after my water secret realm, when the heavenly star shines, I will unlock more functions. One of them is extremely powerful. As long as there's water, I can easily see if a woman still has that membrane through the water. The car turned onto the highway, sped through Fengcheng, and headed straight for Huangang. At the high-speed railway station, the car parked by the roadside. Ding Ryushui smacked the steering wheel. Car, little C. I'm here, the electronic voice from the car interior responded. Head back to Nanhu Villa. Understood. Don't flirt on the way, behave yourself. Got it. Then she exited the car and closed the door. The blue small car cheerfully headed back on its own. Lin Zaiasu was stunned. Your car service system is named Little C. Yes, it's just added during the New Year's period. Why call it Little C? Because there's someone named Little C who always bullies me. I wanted to bully him, but my mom wouldn't allow it, so I can only bully my ride. Ding Ryushui blinked and said, I press it every day to tease it. Didn't you say don't flirt on the road? Lin Zaiasu was dumbfounded. Ding Ryushui burst into laughter. All right, let's talk seriously. I'll show you a photo, see if you know who she is. She tapped on her phone and opened a photo. A beautiful white-haired woman. Lin Zaiasu's eyes widened. It was Zhu Ying. Hidden Dragon 9 gold medal. You really know her? Ding Ryushui caught his gaze. What's the matter? Lin Zaiasu asked back. My brother left with this girl before New Year's Eve and didn't come back for dinner. My mom almost called the police. Ah, so that's it. Lin Zaiasu smiled. Don't worry, it's nothing. This chick with non-mainstream white hair clearly isn't the real deal. What's there to be assured about? Come on, Lin Zaiasu said. Let me be honest with you. This girl is a Qianlong gold medal. Her white hair is not a cosplay of a contemporary cute cartoon girl. She has unique genes. Ding Ryushui sprang up, her face changing instantly. What trouble did my brother get into? Alarm a Qianlong gold medal, that's no small matter. Ryushui, you misunderstood your brother, Lin Zaiasu said. Although overall your brother is still a charming, shameless, promiscuous brat, he has merits. He's helping Qianlong with tasks, and very important ones at that. The panic on Ding Ryushui's face visibly dissipated, but her suspicion grew. He's helping Qianlong with tasks. Yes, his mechanical manufacturing ability has gained Qianlong's recognition. In this domain, he holds significant potential. Ding Ryushui slowly closed her eyes. Her chest rose and fell gently. If it were about other things, she wouldn't believe it, but when it comes to mechanical manufacturing, she actually does believe. Her brother, the super-spoiled brat that neither her family nor their circle of friends held in high regard, could actually help out with Qianlong's tasks. Really? It's true, last time your brother disappeared, he wasn't kidnapped to Qingmian country. He was also helping Qianlong with tasks. Lin Zaiasu said, if he goes missing again, your mom shouldn't call the police. She'd be putting Chief Shen in a difficult spot. All right, Ding Ryushui exhaled deeply. Now thinking about it, I suddenly feel my Ding family is so outstanding. My dad is doing research for the country, my mom is promoting Jiangqing's consumption cycle, my brother is researching mechanics for Qianlong, and I'm always ready to provide water for you. What kind of family is this? This is a red family, full of devotion and honor. Oh no, it's full of integrity. The family of 4 in different fields, all serving the nation. Among them, what her dad and brother do is proper work. Her mom's promotion of consumption is somewhat absurd. And she herself, not absurd, purely flirtatious. However, if summed up concisely, it actually makes a bit of sense.